the proposal as it came out last night is that manufactured housing would be permitted on individual lots in any district where single-family homes are permitted. And in fact, that has, the board felt that they had intended that to say in the rural district. And so they're having a rehearing on that, I want to say on January 8th. And so this is what's coming up there, and if you have input on that, that would be more properly taken to the planning board. And that is all the excitement from that part of Lake Wobegon. I do see that my other thing I wanted to discuss is on the agenda almost immediately after the budget, someplace in there I saw it. And so I will save that handout for later. That's it for mine. That's it for me.
All right, Curtis?
I got nothing.
And I'm kind of the same thing, so I tried to bring camera work.
Wait, I do have one other thing.
Oh, back to you, Dick.
Sorry. We created a draft, it says draft on every side, but there you go, handout concerning Troy's regulations on ADUs. And there are some highlighted errors, highlighted areas that they are not, they may or may not be exactly correct. We're looking for input on that. This is almost a verbatim copy of the one that Fitzwilliam created. It was, it was good, so why not just copy it? Our rules and regulations are slightly different, and so now it's an amendable draft format. If you have input on the format or the contents, please get back to the planning board through Debbie. And anyway, that's the idea. It would be a trifold brochure to pass out. And the idea is to make it easier for people who live in town or own property in town that want to add an ADU to understand what the rules are and are not. Our hope is to have a similar thing on applying for building permits, but since Fitzwilliam had already done what amounts to probably 95% of the work on it, we thought we'd get that one done first. Now I'm done.
All right. And we're finally back up and going. For some reason it kept crashing, so that's fine. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into public comment. Any public want to comment tonight?
Carl, go ahead. Okay. First thing that I have is, I wanted to know if somebody could tell me what the permitting process and the plan and the oversight of what's going on being built, the new structure that's going up over the roof of the existing roof at Troy Mills. What plan was submitted to the town? What permit was issued? And who's doing the oversight? Who's doing the inspections?
Mike.
The person who will be doing the inspections will be our building inspector, and
We don't require plans.
there's no plans required for re-roofing or putting a roof on.
It's not a re-roofing, it's a new structure on top of the roof.
It's well,
Here's a photograph. There's LVLs, there's 2x, it's a whole new structure.
all that would be covered with Mike. He would be doing the inspections.
Why would there be no permit?
There's no permit required.
This here also was submitted as a amendment or an article, a warrant article last year for permitting, for inspections, and for the selectmen to do this. And I bring this up, and I'm not yelling. If I'm too loud, please tell me. I tend to speak loud. But here's a clown who rides into town and has pretty much tried to divide the town, tries to find his little band of followers that he can within the town to manipulate them. This is the same guy who tries to manipulate anything he can in ordinances. He tries to become a member of boards when he really doesn't even live here. Yes, can he say that he lives here by statute? Probably. But does he sleep here? Does he put his head down here? It's the same guy who exploits the town of Troy every step of the way. This is the same clown who is...
Okay, so first off, I'm gonna stop you there.
But,
Name calling. I already told you.
no, no,
You're calling him a clown.
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Stop.
The same fellow who is suing the town and everybody in it, and the selectmen, carte blanche, lets him do whatever he wants to do. This has got to stop. You need to issue him permits, you need to see plans, and there needs to be inspections. And it's not being done. And this is what we voted on at the last town meeting.
As far as I know, it's re-roofing it. Putting a new roof on top
Take a
of
look at the picture, please.
I saw the picture.
You telling me that's a new roof?
Did you see what he did with the other roof? He put it on top of the existing roof.
Hey,
And
okay,
for him to
there you
re-roof,
go, there you
he's-
go.
He has the right to re-roof a building just like anybody else in this town, and he should be working with the building inspector.
So the building inspector was there on 12/10, and in his notes on his invoice, which he outlines what he did, he talked to Eric about discussing future framing plans for a new roof after the completion of the demolition, which he's completed that, the grant has been submitted.
Correct.
This
So
is-
he's re-roofing the building. which
This is a new structure being placed on top of an existing roof. That's what it is. And was there any engineered plans? Can that roof below it hold it? I mean, I don't care what this guy does, but he seems to be able to steamroll his way over anything he wants to do. As long as he goes through the right channels and he does things the right way, great. But this is not the way to do it. There's no plans, there's nothing. You don't know if the thing's gonna fall in with the first snow load. I mean, come on.
That would all be on him. The town would have no responsibility at that point. If he's building a roof on top of it, then he's allowed to do that. He's got the building inspector going there several times.
He's allowed to build something without a plan.
He's building a roof, Carl.
It is not a roof. He's not re-shingling a roof. He's not putting a new rubber roof on. He is building a structure over the top of an existing roof. Come on.
This is not a discussion. It's a public comment.
Okay.
Your comment is.
I made the comment. I made the comment.
We've already
That's
addressed
it.
it, saying that he's already dealing with Mike. So that's
Okay.
as far as
And
it
the
can be.
state has approved the demolition work.
Yeah, the state approved the demolition work. I mean, that's already done.
It's not even questioning the demolition work. Don't care about it.
And you brought it to our attention. We'll look into it and see what we can. But like I said, roof, it's in our own rules and regulations.
So I can build a building over my house with a new roof on it without a permit, right? Come on,
That's an ADU, according to what we just
come
saw.
on. We both know that I can't do that.
Like I said, he's having the building inspector take care of it. So, yeah.
Speaking as your neighbor and fire chief, and I think I'm also a resident of this town of Troy, we should probably as a town do something a little bit better. That is of the opinion of the fire chief, that's an extreme hazard that is down there right now. If that building were to catch fire, that end of that building is no enter by firefighters, because what you've created what you're gonna create is you're going to create dead space between two different roof structures, and that is a big no-no in the fire world. You research the famous mill fires, Worcester 6. It's all because of roof over roof over roof. We can't get in there, so it becomes a hazard. So
Those small spaces.
yeah, well, we can't tell if there's if that building gets going and there's a fire up between those two.
Right.
We can't tell what's going on in there. Roofs hold fire real well. You see us cutting roofs.
Right.
Fire's really gonna be going to go through a rubber roof, shingle roof, etc.
Whatever it is.
So in future, something like that we should probably address. We don't want somebody in a residential to add a 1 foot roof over the top of their existing roof on a house. a significant fire hazard for the firefighters. primarily.
We'll talk to Mike about it and see
So
what's going
that
on with
should
it,
be-
because he might build it up and then rip out that.
Yeah, so I
underneath it,
just
you know.
keep that in mind.
We
for
don't
Having the
future.
beams being structurally rated for the weight.
That was something he's supposed to calculate with Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You got I-beam trusses up there that have about 2 minutes of fire time. And they're done.
Does a bunch of plywood with a 2x4
This is
on top.
power.
So in future, I'm not picking on the mill or anything, but in future, we, you know, as people get into intricate building, we should, it's ultimately the firefighters who are gonna potentially suffer in the future
The
because of,
the one that you said that I think I wouldn't have thought of, but I certainly understand as soon as you said it, is somebody building a roof over a roof, and as I drive to my office in Winchester, there's a guy who spent 2 years, instead of sorting out the framing on his house, he literally built a reframed roof over it, and it's all, look, you'd think it was this nice plumb and square metal roof, but there's actually a wonky old roof underneath it, so unless he pulled that out on the inside,
yeah, and those are the worst things for us, cause
that's exactly where your
roof holds, you know, two roofs are the worst.
Yeah,
You know, space between two roofs is
and it's not a lot of
Hey,
space, it's just enough to be a.
just enough to
it's
get a
not
fire going.
2 inches, it's 2.5 feet. You can't get there and you can't get in, I can
Yep.
see that.
I just think that he should be applying and doing it right. If he's gonna do it right. Go through the proper channels in the town. That's what I'm asking.
So again, Carl, roofs can be redone by any Joe Blow that wants to redo their roof. He's working already with Mike, our building inspector,
In this state,
and the state, so it's,
I understand that you say if Mike is the building inspector and he's doing his inspections.
so then Carl, stop right there.
Yep.
You should be done then. We've already told you he's working with Mike. Past that, it's out of our hands. We have a fire official who said what their piece on it makes perfect sense. We are gonna also speak with Mike and have him just make sure everything is kosher with what he needs to have.
You need a permit to build a building in this town.
Yes, but again, re-roofing, which this can be considered re-roofing, Carl. This is what you're not understanding.
Oh, I understand what a roof is. I understand.
Because it's
re-roofing
the
is,
same thing
yes.
what he did with the other part. He put the building, the roof,
He
on
did.
top of the other roof.
Yes,
I've been up there, I've walked through it.
Mhm.
That's exactly what he did.
and he should have had a permit for that too. And he should have had a plan for that too. That's
Okay, there's no more discussion on this, Carl.
right.
It's enough,
fine.
because this is getting ridiculous.
I don't think it's ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous because I've already told you this. You already started calling him names for no reason.
I apologize for
And
that, okay? But
You're
Mr.
arguing
Ferris should
with
just-
us.
Yes, I am,
You need to stop.
okay?
Thank you. Ben,
Just a quick question for fire guys. So are we on a, basically, because the residential portion of this has that same roof over roof situation going on over there. Are we in a no entry for the entire property at this point? Should a fire happen down there?
So at this point, I can't speak for Mark, but I'll speak for Fitzwilliam.
Okay.
My folks are instructed not to enter that mill building unless we can see a victim inside a doorway.
Okay.
Because we feel at this time, we feel the building
We had
isn't.
we've had no walkthrough, no anything.
Yeah, we're not enough confidence in what's in there
Jeopardize our
should
guys.
fire.
So if there's somebody in there, we'll do everything we can to get them, that's for sure.
Okay.
But if we don't, if we're guaranteed nobody's in there, we'll do what we can.
That's a scary, that's a scary thing to hear, guys.
It is.
So I don't know
But-
what you can do about that, but that sounds very alarming.
I don't think you're gonna get a use of occupancy permit on until any part of that is resolved.
Yeah. Oh,
And that's accurate. That's an accurate statement. There will, a use of occupancy permit will not be issued or cannot be issued until the fire department is comfortable with the building.
okay. Okay, thank you. I have an additional comment about something
I
totally
kinda
different.
figured. So go ahead.
So at the ZBA meeting the other night, we'll leave out the antics that took place at the meeting. There was a discussion about it came up amongst, it was actually you and a couple others about a missing plan for the park. And I kind of got lost in the fray of the whole meeting, as you probably gathered. But it's, I want to know more about that. What is that?
It's your plan.
It was
I
your
don't-
guys' plan,
I don't-
or
guys'
not your
process.
guys', your
I've never
whoever
seen-
originally designed it.
Okay, so
There
just
was
tell
plan.
me the story. Where's the plan? What happened to it? Where
Well-
was it? Who saw it?
Well,
We never seen this thing.
well, when you in 22,
Yeah,
when you came and applied and asked for us for building permits, there was a plan here.
that you showed us from your copy, your old site plan.
Yeah,
old site, we don't have one.
Your old site plan that you showed us during your.
maybe it
you
was,
said,
maybe it was,
This is what
maybe,
the plan, and said, this is where the intent was, that they wanted to expand the trailer park, and we brought it back to the planning board, and they said, yes, that you guys could actually do it, because you have an old site, a site plan.
so, or if it wasn't, it was one, there was one for the park, your,
With
it's
the
what you call the
overalls.
upper
No,
part.
we literally don't. I mean,
Yeah,
between the two of us, we don't. We
It was
have
an
no
old-
idea what we're
it's-
talking about.
It was old.
It's
It was,
possible.
it was from like 70 something.
So
Okay.
It
so
was
I-
here at some
so-
point, but
Yeah.
it's not.
So just from my standpoint, sorry to interrupt, so from my standpoint, I recall the meeting very specifically. I was parked outside of a McDonald's in Greenfield on the phone with you guys,
Yeah.
and that's how I attended the meeting. So I remember in
Yeah.
great detail as to how this meeting went down, what we discussed,
Yeah.
the permits that were issued, and this
Yeah.
plan. I don't.
Well,
like,
we
holy
had,
crap.
I swear to God, we had it in
You
our
have
hands.
Because we were looking at it here.
Yeah,
and
but
it's-
you weren't
it's-
here, I don't think.
No, I was here.
Oh,
No,
Greenfield?
you had just gotten here.
Oh,
Yeah, I
You were
just got here, but I
brand new.
remember because I was like,
Yeah.
looking at plans, one of my first
So
times
what-
looking at
so-
plans that big.
So where did it go from? Well, so you had
Well,
copies
was
of this
here.
thing?
The problem, this is
What
not
does it
in
look
any,
like?
this isn't related, this is an old blueprint. It is.
Really?
Yeah, it's not, we have had a problem in this building in the last 2 years with things disappearing.
For
And it has nothing to do with you.
It wasn't like that. There's more
was
than
it
one.
this big? Was it this
No,
big?
it was
It was
like,
a full.
was
It was
over
a
here.
full rolled up plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I said, it went missing. Like, how do you make one of these disappear? I mean,
Well, and
some of them
then-
come in tubes.
Well, Dick, we've talked about this a couple times.
Yeah.
Each time you brought it up, I've been like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well-
I remember seeing one.
So, it was a long time ago.
You guys
I
showed
I
guess-
mean, it's been a busy couple of years, but,
Yeah,
the bottom line is, it was here.
huh,
And it is one of the 2 or 3 things that now that we feel we need it,
sure.
we can't find it. One of the reasons we've spent so much time and effort trying to organize the town files is because there really and truly was no organization. I looked and was looking for something this afternoon, and on top of that cabinet, right now, if you go over and grab the appropriate pile of junk there, well, not that one, the green one. If you pick the green one up and see what's in there, you'll find the Mylar from the States from 1939 when they redesigned the Common. You'll find the layout of Granite Street from 1898, and you'll find a subdivision from 2023. And they're organized based on whatever's on top, whoever dug through the pile and however they left it.
We're not surprised by any of that, but I'm just
No, well, so
it's
this is the problem
curious.
we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
Well,
And your stuff is in there.
what is the theory on this missing plan? Because it sounds like it's beneficial to have for everybody. We'd certainly
agree.
love to see it.
But that, we agree, but we don't know what happened to it. It's
Either
just
we
like the
can't
other
find
plan.
it or it's
Huh.
missing.
So the operative plan has been to sort out, we started with the large room back here,
Okay.
sort of the Fibber McGee's closet of filing systems.
Do you think this might surface as you get through the organization?
It is our hope.
Okay. All right.
Other than that, somebody
Okay.
picked it up and used it to start a fire.
We've certainly tried looking for it, because there's been a request for it.
Yeah.
Amanda's been through everything in that room, she's been through all this stuff, she's been into the selectman's office, the town clerk's office, she's been looking.
Sarah and Abby's been a
We
lot.
cannot find it, and Sarah and Abby themselves spent hours looking for her.
And the same
We
thing,
feel crazy, cause we literally, I
Well-
mean,
you're not alone.
Yeah, each time we've talked about it, and you mentioned it, I've been like, were we at the same meeting?
Right.
I don't recall this at all.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
It was here and we all
Huh.
discussed it, cause like I said, we looked at it, we were looking at it like, huh, cause it wasn't a newer plan, it was an old plan.
sure, it had to have been,
So,
Yeah, cause we don't have anything, since we owned it, we don't
Yeah.
have anything, we don't have a
And-
site plan.
Weren't the sewer taps already in there? They've been there for years?
No, that all came,
45,
yeah,
30 years ago.
yeah, when in the
30 years
nineties,
ago.
it was in the nineties.
Yeah, but they're there.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've been there for,
yeah.
you didn't put them in 6 weeks ago, they've been there for
Yeah.
decades.
No, yeah, they
Yeah.
went on to the town sewer, 30 years ago,
Yeah,
somewhere in that neighborhood.
I
That's what we-
recall that part of the
When we
because
talked-
that conversation at the time as well. Sewer taps were there and whatever else you needed, so it was.
Yeah, cause we were talking about it the other night, and the only other plan I've seen is like in the lower park, when they put all the stuff underground down there, PSNH did.
No, this was
Did
like
yeah, this was the upper park that you were
Upper
talking
park,
about, so
yeah.
I didn't know if that's what we were
The
confused
roads.
with, but that's on an 8.5 by 11 that says PSNH on the bottom of it, so. And that's literally just shows you where all the underground primaries and stuff are in that park. And it kind of just segments out the lots as relation to the power.
right,
So, and that's not even a site plan,
Well,
so.
the two, and then of course the other famously missing site plan is the site plan from the mill. Which there was a signed off version, and, Steve, it's on video, Steve Sawyer stands over in that corner and says, and here it is.
He
And
puts it on
puts
the
it
table.
back, he puts it back in that
When
box.
we put it on the table, a couple of us went over and looked at it and said, yep, he was the one that signed off on it,
Yeah, and
and
it's,
then it's
and it's gone.
went flying away.
And during that same time frame, I just wanna point out that yours was an old site plan, the mill was an old site plan, we also had one for the storage units across from Dollar General,
Dollar General,
which
yeah,
was an old site plan,
Those
but they
are gone.
intended to put 3 more up on top, and Courtney came in and did that,
yeah.
and we approved that one, and then the one on Monadnock Street, where
The
the guy wanted to
townhouses up
do
on Monadnock Street.
townhouses, right,
And those are all missing.
well, we don't, the guy in the townhouses,
He revamped his, 'cause
Okay.
he wanted to build, originally it was like 1 story, like 6 1-stories, and he did 2-story
And then I don't think he built them anyways.
duplexes. No, he built duplexes, that's the,
Oh,
the new ones that are up.
yeah.
oh, okay.
those ones are moving.
And, but I don't think we have the plans for the, storage units either.
Courtney might have those ones, but we
Well,
did see
we
what
don't
others
have
are,
our
but
copy.
I don't think we've looked for those ones because it hasn't been an issue.
Yeah, it hasn't come up again.
So
There
there is,
wasn't much opportunity for clarification the other night, so.
I gather.
So
The reason why
this
that
is
came up
why,
is somebody put a 91A request in for the site plan for the park. At that point, this office, that office, everyone will start looking for these site plans. They're not here.
Oh.
If they happen to show up,
and the point I wanna make is it's not just yours.
yep,
And those are the two, and so it really takes us to, those are 2 or 3 things that we know should be here, cause we had, the 3 of us literally had them in our hands. And they're not here, we don't know what else isn't here.
Right, yeah, you haven't looked for anything.
since then, we installed cameras.
Yeah.
So our remedy to that, because of things coming up missing, we installed cameras. So there's
Right.
cameras and there's placards and decals saying you are audio and video recorded throughout this entire building.
And also that we put the new locks on all the doors and all that.
what do other
stuff.
towns do? Do they have a locked file room, or how
They
does?
Depends upon how big, if it's the city of Keene, they'll break your hands before you touch it.
Yeah, no, we don't wanna emulate the city.
Well,
on
sometimes you go, it's
most
not
things,
such a
but-
bad idea.
Yeah.
Smaller towns don't even allow people past that front thing.
It's
unless
just-
they're-
Right, it's all
they're
in
like-
behind the door.
You're holding their hand the whole way.
Those files should, in my considered opinion, they should be organized based on some kind of definable system,
Mhm.
and they should be locked. And so we
And
have,
accessed by staff, or however you do it,
Correct.
yeah, or.
and it's, when you go to the state library in Concord or Richmond, Virginia, you can look at that, which means we're going to put it on the table.
You're in the map room.
You're
so
in the
to speak.
map room,
Okay.
you stay in the map room with the map, and we're gonna watch you. You don't get to walk out of here with a box of stuff, cause you'll be back on Wednesday.
Yep,
So we're also implementing plans to set up a file retention department basically to say when things get done and then,
Well, and what things can be thrown out.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
this is like an
also,
RSA that.
no more
44
touchy.
something, I think that
Right,
actually
yeah.
has it like laid right out.
Yes, sir.
Digital copies.
We're not at that point yet.
We are definitely not at that point.
That would be nice though, digitizing
It'd be a
everything.
really good idea, but,
So something this size, really easy to do.
yeah.
Something that size, a little harder to do because that we have to either send out or have a company bring in the machinery to.
Well, the cheapest thing to do would be take it up to Gen Graphics on Marlboro Street, have them scan it into a PDF. But, okay, if you're gonna do 20 of them today, maybe it's worthwhile to spend somebody up there, but do a onesie twosie. And the real problem, Scott, is any new submission, we can say and send it, this is nice, and send us a PDF. Not a problem. The problem is the town's 200 years old and the crap, the information in there goes back 214 years. And that's the problem. And if, as I said earlier, literally, if you go and thumb around through there, you'll find stuff that's well over 150 years old.
The price tag to do the whole town, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands.
We've looked into it. It's a process
So
where,
could we say it's suspect that, like, their plans are missing and the mill's plans?
well, it's suspect that a lot of plans went missing.
Well,
It could have been someone just said, I'm grabbing everything and walking.
same place.
They're all, somebody,
It's been going on for years. When I was on the planning board over 10 years ago, we had to lock the files because every time we wanted to go find something that was on the shelf, the file was missing.
Yep.
So we locked the files.
And that's what we're working in process of getting everything going. That's why we're trying to keep anything that's newer coming
And
in.
that's the only way we have
Locked
to
up.
organize our business in the planning board is by locking the files.
So another thing we're doing is, there is a new file room that has been built.
Yep.
There's shelves are going in, it's on the last bay, it's like the back part where the police department is, that jut out building part. That's all locked, and it's all been redone, electricity, new sheetrock, new lock door, heat,
lights, an electrician go through.
yeah. So that's gonna be, hopefully where all the locked up stuff is gonna be getting put.
And there'll be, again, there'll be cameras watching and all that too.
Okay. Well, if you guys come across it, let us know, cause
Yeah.
we're anxious.
It was
to
a
see.
surprise,
Yeah.
like, what?
Cause
Wait, what was he
it
talking
kind of
about?
been mentioned a couple of times, but then it came up the other night, like, we've been looking for this thing, and I'm like, okay, how am I the one that doesn't know that we've been looking for this thing, and it's about my property, so, yeah, so, it's all good, but I just wanted some clarification, cause,
No, we were kind of secretly hoping you had a copy.
well, it seems beneficial to have a copy of this thing,
We would-
based on a number of
Great.
levels, so,
Yeah.
Long before my time.
Also, since then, we also learned that you have to have old site plans. It can't be older than, 2 years now, and you have to have started some work. So
Mhm.
when we brought it back to the planning board, and they said, well, you guys already had trailers in that from that site plan. So
So-
is that considered substantial work, I think was the word
I
that
would
they
say it's
used?
substantial if you go proportionally based on whatever your total number there is. X is larger than the 5 permits we issued you. So,
And same thing with the storage unit, they already had substantial amount of work, it was still an old site plan, but we also learned since then, by trial and error, and, making the errors, we can't do that, it has to be within 2 years, you have to have substantial work done on it, and so on and so forth. So,
Yep.
A lot of
Got it?
moving forward, we're
Learn
correcting
something
ourselves.
new.
Yep. Alright, I've had enough meetings, so thank you guys.
Any other public want to comment? Looking over here because you guys are the last.
No,
meeting, so.
I've had enough as well, but.
yeah, we could all call it good and go home tonight. That'll be all right.
And we're working through it, All right, so we'll start into the fun stuff, budget presentations, start with the fire department, 4220.
Can you check the lights behind you and just make sure that they're all the way up? It seems like it's dim.
not.
There we
Oh.
go, thank you.
Yeah, I thought the same.
Oh,
thing.
no.
Oh.
Mine did.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
bright here.
You guys are ugly.
Unless you know,
No name.
you might want to mention it at the planning board meeting? Cause I think they have the dimmer down then.
We
too.
did, yeah, I thought it was dark, but I
Just thought it was the time of year.
Alright.
Thought it was the mood.
Yeah,
That was dark, for sure.
just sad and depressed.
Alright, Mark, so you wanna walk us through any major changes?
So left the Board of Engineers salary the same as last year. The payroll we went up because we're over on the payroll this year.
Fire's happening. What?
We're at 238 calls right now. That's just fire.
Dang.
And some of them have been lengthy. I mean, we spent 6 hours in Ringe. I mean, that adds up quick. So that's why I went up on the firefighter payroll, just to try and keep it
Even
check
though
with
it's
what we're. Cause I think at the end of October, we had $98 left. And we had November, and that was over $2,000 November payroll. And then whatever comes in December, so that's kinda how I come to that figure there. Building inspections the same. Payroll, secretary payroll, we went over, so we went up a little bit.
Now, should that be higher than that, since the last 2 years you've kind of gone over?
I mean, cause we're doing both, at least actually we're doing both with the fire and the ambulance. The ambulance one, we didn't use a lot of it, so we could just take a little bit out of the
Okay,
ambulance.
okay,
one
so
instead.
it's split.
Yeah,
Oh.
so we're doing both, you know, with on the computer, we're spending time on both things, so.
Alright, makes sense then.
The vehicle insurance, looks like it went way down.
So I know Jeremy was working on
Yeah,
trying to get it
that's a
exactly.
yearly figure, so. Building maintenance, I left it at 1,100.
Do you mind if I stop you real quick? Jeremy, why is the actual for all the insurances been blank? We've already paid it this year.
Yes, the town paid it, but we haven't actually taken the money from each
We
department.
really need to, so we can figure out the actual breakout, because it doesn't tell us an actual for the year.
The problem with last year is we over budgeted by like 10 grand for everything, that's why I'm recalculating.
Right. But it's still good to know the
So-
actuals in there.
So, let me ask, based on that statement, Jeremy, you have a recalculation for 2025. Would it be reasonable to say that the number that should be in, line 205 would be that 4943 for 24?
Or slightly less than that, because it marks.
Different, because we got the new
The problem with 24 is, and I don't know how the numbers were calculated or whatever, but,
Yeah.
so the town over budgeted for what we actually paid them.
Yeah.
But it's not in this one.
We over budgeted versus what we actually paid.
Right, so,
So that doesn't matter.
Could it
It
be like-
matters what you need to go through what you actually paid and allocate it by.
Yeah, it needs, that's what we need to do, is just allocate it out.
So we can, you figured something out because you're telling us that
Yeah.
next year he's gonna be 4943.
so Primex has a cool thing, it's a worksheet that you fill out, that's what I did for next year. You know, it says, what is the value of the buildings that you have?
Right,
What is the
right.
value of the cars, and it spits out numbers, and when I did department by department for next year, the total was almost identical to what we were billed with, which is good. But when I went
Makes
back to
sense.
24 and did it, the numbers just don't, so I need to work on that a little bit more to figure it out.
Well, we need to,
The only perfect solution would be taking the entire bill and putting it in a separate budget account, but I know
No, we
that
don't.
you wanna figure out what each department costs, so that's why
Right.
Yeah, because it throws off the actuals, if they know their actual, they say they have, you know,
right, they have unexpended funds. that
they
don't
have
actually
40% left, and they actually only have like 2% left. We wanna make sure those things are in there correctly,
So
because especially
nobody's
when
house can catch on fire between now and 12:30.
It's a matter of finding out how much we should be billing them and then actually billing it, and there might be a little bit of fluff too.
No chimney fires, no Christmas trees.
As you said later, I found that for whatever the last few years, for the ambulance, we haven't charged any liability insurance at all, which blows my mind, so something happened there.
Because I think what you actually did last year is that you had an ambulance that wasn't in service and a new ambulance that hadn't got here yet.
We're using this year.
Right.
So we left the insurance blank on the ambulance, added a little bit into fire because we knew the new ambulance was coming at some point in 2024.
Right.
And we were just gonna make it up, so we left ambulance blank, add a little bit into fire, so that's why ambulance was blank
Makes
last
sense.
year.
most interesting thing about that ambulance, whole thing about that ambulance is, if we had ordered it when you first asked for it, it would have cost significantly less, and we still would have gotten it like 2 or 3 years later. That wouldn't have to even pay for it. I thought that was,
There's like a 2-year wait right now.
Yeah, the Toyota's looking at one right now, 2.5 years.
well, you know, and the problem, I've concluded, being through this process, for the next time that comes up, is for the average person, it's not, we all think, if I wanna go buy a car, I can go over and talk to Joe Wallier, and I can drive out of there tonight with a new car, not a problem. And it's not how it works for these specialty vehicles. It's a 6-month, best case, 2-year
Our
problem.
biggest thing was the chassis,
Yeah,
getting the chassis from Ford.
right,
The bodies, they can hammer the bodies out west,
right,
but the chassis weren't there.
right.
No, they ordered, what do you say, 72 chassis, and he got like 16. So he
Yeah,
says, unfortunately, you weren't one of the 16.
right.
Then finally he said, I got a VIN number on paper. I don't have nothing built, but we got one on paper
It
now.
exists, it's gonna
So
exist.
it should be somewhat soon.
It's like the PD, they
Right.
got theirs, what, a month ago?
John's
John just got his today,
What?
The truck.
the new truck
Oh,
for the highway department, they
Yeah.
just got it
Which I'm
today.
pretty sure John ordered it the day after town meeting.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
And
did,
again,
yeah.
it's,
it's crazy.
we're at 10 months, or 8 months later, we're,
yeah.
and that's nowhere near specialty of what a police car or a fire truck or an ambulance
Yeah,
is.
we're at the Toyota right now, they're absolute soonest we can get a new ambulance is 2.5 years.
So, when we know that the ambulance is getting, 2.5 years, 5 years before we need it, we'll start ordering it then.
I mean, you gotta at least put the wheels in motion to get it, put everything
Right.
together and figure out, how much we have in our funds or whatever to pay for everything and bring
Right,
it to a vote, cause we know it's gonna take a while.
right.
Yeah.
Can you lock the price in?
Nope.
So it's whatever it costs 2.5 years from now.
So, well, it's not, so we're doing it right now, so in there's a line item in the budget, they put $80,000 for potential price increase over the next 2.5 years before it gets here.
Oh, Jesus.
So
So it's allocated a block of money to buy it,
Yeah,
and another block of money against a price increase.
yeah, $80,000, right? We're right in the middle of it right now,
The only thing we
$80,000.
saved was $3,000 cause we paid for it, once they had the total figure.
Mhm.
We paid for it before we took delivery of the vehicle.
So we're
Save
looking at getting the
$3,000.
the matching ambulance to
Yeah.
Troy's,
Yeah.
and the quote we got was $379,000.
We paid 204.
Yeah.
That's a
Wow.
Just got the quote, and we said copy Troy's, we want the same thing.
We didn't tell him copy the invoice.
You should hey, I could go in my drawer at the station and say, I already got
Change the
plans.
letterhead.
We got plans already, here they are.
We'll white out my signature off the contract.
Let me know how that works.
Thank you, inflation.
It's all COVID's fault. Everything's COVID's fault.
Yeah,
That's getting to be an old excuse though.
I agree.
It's going anywhere.
Well, we need to start making some more stuff here and
I
stop
agree with
importing.
Imported viruses.
Well, not only that, but anything. I mean, nothing's really built here anymore. That's the problem. It's all built overseas and they ship it in a slow boat from literally
Supposed to come
China.
back, though. I don't know. We'll see.
Definitely will see.
All right, you were saying, Mark.
I think we're on cleaning supplies, if I remember right. We must have cleaned too much. We did 136 last year, but we're still gonna ask for just 100. So the computer services is a new line. Because we didn't know before that it was being taken out of my equipment purchase,
Mm-hmm.
which hurts. Because equipment's not getting any cheaper like everything else, so. So that's a new line item there, the computer services.
What are the memberships or dues that you pay? Is there like a association of
Like
fire
any,
guys?
so the membership dues and subscription, some of it's, we have subscription to books. And then we have one of our reporting agencies that we actually just had to pay them another $500 so we could get our times through our, online, into our New Hampshire Respond. So it all comes in this, when the tone goes out, it all comes in. Before we were having to just go off our text messages with our times.
Yeah,
Now it's from the mutual aid center, it's downloaded right into the system.
yeah.
So every call we do, we come home back to the station, we do the report, and it gets shipped right to the fire marshal's office, so we're always up to date on our reporting with the state.
Plus, plus, in this great world of dispatching of all our radio towers are crashing, they're now dispatching us on our cell phones, so we have to pay for that program.
So right now, we have a free one we're trying right now, which we're gonna switch to another one. But we're doing, I am responding right now, which we're gonna go back to Sindri, which is what we used to have. Which that lists like if you have a fire, it lists all the apparatus that's coming to you. So we're gonna buy a tablet to put in the truck. So we can have the tablet there and we know as the commander, you know, you got this many pumpers, this many tankers. You know what's coming to you, so you can kind of keep track of everything. I mean, it's the technology today.
Okay.
Other than you trying to remember or trying to henpeck it down on a dry erase board, you know, because not, you know, we don't all have command vehicles. I mean, Fitzwing's fortunate enough. But they got more money than we do.
Speaking of the
We just
equipment,
need the call.
Yeah, yeah.
have you researched into the AED machines for town?
We can see where the
I
incident
just talked, I mean, we
Sure.
canceled, we had another meeting to go to, so we didn't do the officers meeting, so the ambulance crew,
What is
It's gonna take care of all the
no
AEDs.
address.
Okay.
we're gonna have them.
When they do that, make
It's
sure
just,
they fill it out.
if it's a vacant lot
So
or
they're gonna come take a list of what
Any
each
guys-
unit needs, we'll put it together,
It-
we'll
it's
order
not
the
bad
stuff, and
here.
then we'll
we
break it
show up at the
out.
wrong
You
spot.
know, say, you know, whatever it needs to
We're
the
all
town
looking for
hall.
fire over here, maybe that's.
So we'll just break it
I
off,
mean,
if we
what,
buy them all together between the two
Gives us a small
towns,
towns, Mark and I.
you know, that's how we do our.
We know
bulk
your name
discounts anyway,
comes up,
Right.
so
get a
your
little better
address comes
price.
up wrong.
Makes
We
sense.
know where you live.
So we'll just,
We're going there.
that's what we're doing,
You
so.
know, so
Okay.
it's
I mean,
kind
it was just, I know the budget
I mean,
committee's gonna ask that
They
same
did the
question.
GP, they did the 911 in Winchester,
yeah.
and it's wrong. So if you follow, my office is at 114 Main Street, and if you put in your GPS, it'll take you down to the Rite Aid. Because they literally moved the center of town from up by Town Hall down to the lights at 119 and 72.
So we run into that a lot in Fitzwilliam, 119 east from Mr. Mike's towards Ringe.
Yeah.
Actually doesn't show up as Fitzwilliam, it shows up as Ringe. So we get toned to go to, it shows up on our call to go to 119 East Ringe
Yeah.
for the call. So it's small towns, you know,
Yeah.
you know, we can correct and say,
Yeah.
you know, quickly correct and say, hey, we know where that person lives.
Right.
Don't go to Ringe for the call.
Yeah, you get there's several of them that comes up with the alternate address as it comes into your text on your phone.
And then since this is the only real time I ever talked to you guys, I have concern both as a manager of apartment buildings and as an owner of apartment buildings. I know it's a sore subject, the number on,
That's gonna change, so we just dealt with this right next door. So the woman said she was 10 Central Square, well, there is no 10 Central Square.
that sounds right.
And the owner of the apartment told her she lived at 10 Central Square. And he has his apartments lettered like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but it's actually 6 Central Square.
Got it.
So what I wanna do is, you know, like the elderly housing,
Yep.
they're 15 Water Street. So like 201 is the first floor down by the road.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, 101, whatever. 201 is the second floor. So I think that's what we're gonna try to do. And I was just looking into that because I have
Well, I've
when I
been,
just talked to the woman from 911. So Jeremy and I now are both gonna be liaisons for the E911 mapping stuff.
well.
Here's
yeah.
the easiest thing I can tell you as an apartment owner. How many doors do you want us to kick in on your apartment
Oh,
before we find the right
understand.
one?
We've had the discussion before.
Yeah,
You know, like-
I'm just saying,
I
yeah.
am for this.
For anybody that's listening,
I have spent 6 years trying to get it 19 Central Square A, B, C. Because when you buy, or when you own, or when you operate a building and it's 19 Central Square 1, 19 Central Square 3B, and apartment 2, what the hell is that? And how am I supposed to know, you
Yeah,
know?
in that 911 paperwork that I just got from that woman the other day, it lists how, how they should be done, so I was reading through that,
Yeah,
so.
but it's not just you and the owners or the select board. We need to get the utilities on board.
Maybe FedEx can find out location.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna know that. But so, if you go to the little apartment house I have on Depot Street,
Yeah, we
so,
did.
well, yeah, you did. So, it's,
Did you fix your window?
no, yeah, Richie. Swearing at me the whole time.
Tell him to swear at me, I'm the one that punched it out.
More fun than swearing. I don't think that guy's been home yet.
No, he had been, because Adam saw him.
Yeah,
Oh, did you?
he was
Yeah.
one right after the next night, I think.
He came in and then
He
left.
left again.
I didn't even notice. So that is 7 Central Square and 7A Central Square if you ask the electric company. If you talk to the tax collector, it's 3 Central Square. And I'm not sure what the right answer is.
So when they redid the numbers, they never redid them
In here,
in here.
so you think it should
So
be?
like my mother used to be 1 Pleasant Street in Fitzwilliam, now she's 9.
Yeah, she did move, but
So
that,
she didn't move, but the way they changed for the E911, so it all stems back to the E911 because it's so many feet for each new number.
from,
So as they start at the, say they start at Central Square,
yep,
down by the bridge, and then they work their way around. So many feet is when the number changes.
so it's not necessarily sequential, it's how far you are.
Yep.
And based on that, you guys can take a point of beginning and know there should be a building here and it should be on fire. Okay.
Cause we get that E911 stuff comes, we get directly, so we're going to where the dot shows up, unless we know
Unless you know.
we know, yeah,
It's really-
but we're going to where the dot is, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, when we kicked your front door in and it was the wrong address,
Yeah.
you come out of bed pretty surprised.
Which has happened.
Which has happened. We have gone through the front door of wrong house before. And
Well, they'd rather see you than the police.
now there, when Nana gets shocked out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of
Don't
firefighters,
wanna kill her.
it's pretty scary.
I enjoy getting shocked with it, waking up with firefighters.
Ah, good point, that's a good point.
Alright, so the basic question is, the best way to coordinate this with all parties is what? What do you think?
What we need to do is we need to come up with an agreement between the fire and the selectmen.
Yep,
And then there's an RSA that it goes under.
yep,
And then you adopt the RSA and this is the way it
this
is.
is the way it's gonna be.
We can do, like I wanted to do the street signs, the street signs are red.
Right,
I want the house number in red because they don't blend in with the tree
yeah,
and everything as much, they stand out a lot more.
That way they're red?
Well, that's why I wanna do the house numbers. I did a job up in Claremont, there's a red. I
yeah,
mean, they stand out like crazy,
Yeah.
the green foliage
yeah.
blocks the green
Well, winter,
sometimes.
well, the street things are red away for Scott.
So,
Cause they stand out.
they
Yeah,
stand
well,
out a
we're
lot
also
better.
pretty much red others.
Well, we switched, we started putting, the green ones on, and then Richard got blue ones with the,
Yeah, eventually I'd like to go all red if we could. I mean, there's a place in Maine, they got a grant, did all solar numbers out in front of all their houses in town, so you have solar
yeah.
house numbers out in front of your house.
Speaking from my own perspective, I'm happy to do whatever. I really don't want anybody.
So I wanna go to red and I've been looking at that, cause I just got the paperwork a couple days ago from the 911 woman.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna dig through it a little better.
alright, so don't beat up on it too much, cause you're gonna be coming back to us to fix this. So, okay.
Makes sense too. I started out at 22 Dort Street. I've been there 46 years, and now I'm 35. I was 25 in the
It's
middle.
all when the 911.
Yeah, when the 911 came in the first time, they screwed it up.
Yeah.
And give me 25, and then the next time they come in and fixed it, and I was
So
30.
this town hasn't been redone since 2011 for the
Yeah,
maps.
that's probably,
So all the new houses have been built since then, or not on your
A little
911
bit.
maps or nothing?
Oh, really?
So, I mean, I had quite a conversation with the woman, It was all over. Cheshire EMS wanted copies of our maps
Yeah.
for their stuff, so I chatted with her for quite a while, and then I had her send me some stuff. So Jeremy, because it was just John and Mary were the only ones for liaisons for the E911. So now it's gonna be Jeremy, John, and myself.
Ken, is there something, when we issue a CO on a property, is there a form that we could fill out or send or notify, or so that your 911 is immediately updated?
It's not updated, but they get a 911 address. That's the first thing John does when he issues the driveway
The
permit.
driveway permit.
He
They
gives
get
them the
the address.
911 address.
Right.
911's gotta come and update the town, you know, they do whatever, come and update the town. Probably just make a call here and
So
say what
it's-
you're new.
Okay.
Somebody has to make the phone call, and I was just talking to Jeremy about it earlier today. She said, it takes about a year to get it done. So she said, you need to get on the list soon, because they have a bunch to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a cost or what,
No problem.
because she didn't say that. So, but
But
it's-
safety.
it all depends on a year of, like, when I was talking, if you have 2 building permits this year, you're not gonna redo it next year for
Like
2
tech
building
maps.
permits.
Right.
But if you have 10, you might think about redoing the maps again.
Right, but it's
So-
it's not for the 911 thing, it's not like it's just a form he can click and say, okay, we
No.
bought a house here, and,
Let's go to GIS too, right?
So it'll all be like, probably through the state with our, with the reporting and everything, it should all be in that.
And then you get a nice new map. I
Okay,
don't see one here.
I don't think they have any up here.
those maps are all 20 years old.
Yeah, once you do it, you get a nice new map of everything
Yeah, you
in
get all
town.
new maps or
It's
whatever.
like one of these sizes with all the roads and everything on it, so.
Then there's a book of them.
Oh,
Jeremy.
Get on it.
Get on there, my friend.
those were laying around the building,
Yeah.
and so we thought we'd put them on a wall.
Yeah, so she was really good to talk to. I mean, I talked to her for quite a while, so.
I'm not even really sure what they are. I just-
Electricity, I think we left it about
You
the
wanna know
same.
what wildlife important?
Equipment purchase, I went up because of the cost of everything.
You wanna change that number eight you said earlier?
It's still at 10 on mine.
You get the wrong one.
No, you got the wrong one, cause you changed it and you weren't supposed to.
So I had taken the worldwide cost out of equipment purchase, thinking that,
Yes,
looking at like the last 4.
So you guys wanted more than 6,000?
I want the
I
10,000.
talked to Mark and he's like, nope, we wanna bump it.
So you're telling us you want that as 10,000?
Yeah.
Telling, okay. So it's going up 4,000 from what it is, guys.
I mean, I didn't know it was being taken out, so I was spending, not knowing it was being taken out of that line item.
yeah.
And then, when I look at the bottom line, so some line items I don't spend everything. Cause I try to somewhat keep my bottom line in check and do what I can to make it so it's not going over.
Okay, so currently the tentative total is 132,826. As long as nothing else changes, but we'll see as we go.
Because we were at what, 92, and it's not going up much. And then the equipment repairs at 1,200. And we spent 555, but you never know what's gonna break. 1,200 doesn't fix a whole lot, but hopefully we don't have breakdowns.
Buy a tire.
Wouldn't even do that.
One. I went to.
$500.
I know.
State bid. I just bought a set for the ambulance, was 1,100.
Not trucks.
Fire prevention, we went up to 700, we spent 736, but I'm not gonna worry about the 36, I can get it out as another item. General supplies, that stayed the same.
That's those markers.
Those whiteboards.
Yeah.
What is it,
Your generator
Generator
service.
service.
so that was, I think, what was it 477, I added at 480.
Yep.
Okay, makes sense.
That was because they just did those. But I think we should consider maybe switching to somebody else, but that's my opinion.
Who you have generator?
Well, we have Powers right now, but there's a guy that lives right in town that does it, which did the water department and was a lot cheaper.
Well, isn't that your decision?
I mean, the town as a whole, so probably more David's decision than mine, because all those generators were bought through emergency management
Yeah,
under a grant.
okay.
Once you get it, you own it, it's your department, right?
I mean, yeah, I mean, the woman from emergency management said we could've got new ones.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if he got the,
Did it ever get back to me yet?
I don't know if he ever got the thing rewritten. Cause of the, action plan had to be updated, it was too old.
Right. Yeah, Rhonda did that.
Cause I know that was with the grant. with
Rhonda
you
did
guys.
it.
Well,
She needed you for
yeah, the
grant.
one time I was able to get a hold of them, they left me a message, said they would email me, they were still missing something, so it appears that whatever email they're using is wrong, because we never received an email. So I called the guy's cell phone number back, and left me a message, I still haven't heard back. So I get it, once every couple months, they reply, but, and I call several times in between.
So.
He's no longer in that department.
That's the last two calls for that, yeah.
Heat and oil, I think we left it at 3,900, we spent 3,977.
Well, you spent 46.
So your paper's completely different than the ones you gave us.
Well, I updated it too, cause you,
Must have updated it this afternoon, right?
I was actually gonna ask you about that, cause are you thinking oil prices are going down, or you're gonna take the thermostat down, or?
you had like November numbers, and then I had beginning of December, then I Budget
So
for
I don't
now.
have whatever those are.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
ought
it's
to
your
at least
data,
make that
so-
number 4,500 mark.
Okay.
So the oil's gonna go to 45, so we're adding another 400 there. Is what you're telling us, Mark?
Yes.
But there's 600.
Yes.
Yeah, 600.
Mark didn't bring his glasses, so he has
No, I get what fuzzy looking.
Don't wear mine.
Problem. So oil burner will stay at 290. So, I mean, my main issue with the oil burner service is it got set up to come do it one time. Apparently the guy sat out in front of the fire station for an hour and a half and never contacted nobody, and they charged us for him sitting there.
Who was that?
Swansea Oil.
Oh, that sounds right.
And I'm pretty sure I know the person that owns Swansea Oil, and I'm pretty sure she has my phone number.
pretty sure you're gonna give her the business, you
And
said.
he's always around, and none of us got phone calls, so we paid the
Well, even the other
100.
day when they came, they said, let us know when you're leaving, so we left. Just disappeared.
Why did we switch from the guy that was doing it? We had Lee Patton out doing it, he was charging $150 to clean the furnace.
Yeah, these are 290.
We did, no, he did 290, but.
Well, they did 190 was to clean it, and it was 142 or 145 to sit out in front of the station playing TikTok or whatever he was doing.
I don't think you play it, you watch it.
Well, no, they can play on that.
Man, that
My
anyway.
grandson always has my phone. So, the hepatitis B, we have to leave money there. I'm sure it's probably more than that for a cent by now, but we have to offer any new employees if they don't have them for some odd reason. Internet, I don't know,
What the hell did he spend $104
Or
on?
this is a charge to it now, I don't know why.
it shows $94.
Oh, I got 104 on mine, so I
So-
guess I picked up another $10.
We have the the $4. So we have the secured line for the internet, for the
Yeah.
computers because of the reporting. So I don't know if that's where that.
I don't think it's high, I think it's low, that's why I'm asking the question.
Well, that sounds about right, because they get the basic,
Because the basic's free.
Real basic,
but
oh,
because they have
So
the
we have the
secure line.
secured line, adds $4 a month.
oh, okay.
So 4 times 12.
The problem with the budget is it was 0 and we're charging to it. Used to be $1.
Right,
So I used to get a bill, somebody from the selectman's office would send me a bill with all the
Consolidated.
fire, police and all that, and then it would circle it, I'd sign it and send it back.
That
Cause it
from
used to be on
Consolidated.
the ambulance phone, and then we had it switched to the fire station, cause we do all the computer work up there.
So $100 is fine. You know, $1. That's a good value.
I think we left that dollar there, we've been done it for quite a while, just to
Oh,
be on the safe side.
yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
it open, right?
Yeah,
Except if we put it to 0, then they can't spend
That's
anything
right.
out of that. Better to keep $1 than,
Yep.
and in cases.
yeah, so medical supplies, leaving it at 300, cause that just gives us supplies on our EMS bag on the engine if we use any, or, I mean, we have EMS bags on everything, but
Makes
that's
sense.
just to supply the fire department with their stuff. And the mutual aid budget went up about a little over 1,000 to 27.
That's what you pay out to other towns and help? Or
What's
is that
that?
just like a
That's
membership fee?
That's to
paid for them to make our pagers beep.
Okay.
And they don't beat.
They what? You say they what?
I get what you're saying there.
There's a big radio issue with
So yeah, at some point, there's gonna be a major, something's gotta change. We're gonna spend like $5 million to redo the radio system at the dispatch center,
Oh,
or more. So we've been dealing with this probably for the last, 5 years?
Just add it
They
to the
keep
county
talking
tab.
about it, but then they
So,
just keep doing it.
one thing that goes on that, like the public doesn't see, so dispatch runs multiple towers all around that they broadcast the signal on, our pages go. Well, they've got a backup system that if they lose power or something, they will always get dispatch. Well, that backup system has failed, no longer works. So if Highland Hill, if Keene gets an ice storm and Highland Hill, Hurricane Road loses a power line, the tower on Highland Hill goes down, they call us and we all have to put somebody at the
We have to
station
man our stations.
to run the telephone, because they can call the telephone to our station and say, you've got an emergency at
right.
XYZ, they can't run us over the radio. We've actually, just recently, we used Dave's CERT team, we had them come down and man our station, our phones for us.
Can't you go down, don't you have call forwarding? But you could, rather than somebody has to sit at the station.
Yeah, but you've got to, at the station, everything's at the station, so if you came out and volunteered an hour, you've got my phone number, Mark's phone number, all our firefighters, you would have to call everybody
And
and
say,
say, hey, you got a
Yeah, we
fire,
got a fire at such and such.
you got a fire, come here and
yeah,
get going.
okay.
So
Major
that's where-
delays.
That's where we're at with
Nice.
our radio system
Okay.
currently, so.
And then the liability insurance is whatever, is it still 200, Jeremy?
That's the new number, yeah.
And 619 for the next one.
Yep.
Why do you need a PO box at $188 a month? You don't get mail delivered there, can't they just?
We get tons of mail.
No, I know, but you get, aren't you entitled to a free mailbox when you don't get mail delivered?
You have the bigger one.
We have the bigger one, so yeah.
That's why.
Oh, okay.
The small one, you
Really
can
big
barely
one?
put anything in. So.
What's
Is that a
that?
really big one? You're the same size as the town. Oh, because we split ours, never mind, okay.
Okay.
We pay part and she pays part, that's why ours is cheaper.
Right.
Yeah, and
Do you
unfortunately.
really get that much mail?
There's quite a bit. I mean, all of our, so some of the billing now is requesting to go, online, like Firematic that we
Yeah.
usually bill from. And it is a little simpler because they just go at the computer at the station, print it out and
Right.
bring it up here versus having to get into the post office, So,
We're not gonna lower the tax rate even covered, but so.
so postage. What is that? Looks like $1, right?
Postage is at.
Yeah, but I think it should be,
For what?
Postage.
mine says $100.
It says 100 on ours too. Should it be $1?
Yeah, I mean, I usually, if I mail something, I just pay for it myself.
Crazy.
So we just put it back to $1.
Fat fingers, maybe. Could have been me, who knows?
So I'm telling you to put that line item to $1, please.
I'm doing a tally sheet on the back every time we change something.
Propane gas. So we have a credit with the propane company.
Right, that's
So
why
that-
no money's been
No
expended.
money's been expended, so, I think it's over $1,000. I can't remember exactly what it was, but for some reason, I don't know if it got paid twice or whatever, but, credit with them. They keep sending me a thing every month. And I even went into the office in Ringe and said to the woman, what's the deal with this? It says minus this. She goes, oh, you have a credit. So I'm like, okay.
Well, we're supposed to get cold over the Christmas.
Yeah, we don't use it that much with the propane. That's just the generator. And if we do, if we cook anything, so it doesn't really, as long as we don't lose power, we shouldn't use much propane. Books and I mean, that's for like buying code books and stuff like that. Radio repair, that's stayed about close to the same, went up a hair. But that, remember last year we bought 2 new mobiles to replace 2 of them. Plan on doing the same thing this year.
Okay.
Hopefully we get them soon. They supposedly have our last year mobiles there. It's just, we don't have them. That's another thing, radios are, you know, look at how long we waited for the one for the that's what hell putting the ambulance in service, was waiting for a radio. We had the ambulance for over a month before we could put it in service. Recharge fire extinguishers, that's about the same. Social Security, that's up because of the payroll being out. Basic rate telephone.
So you guys have a copper line down there?
No, and I don't know, so that might have been from before, so I don't know why there's even a figure in there. Cause we have that lovely whatever internet stupid
You
bill.
have voice over IP,
Yeah.
voice.
Steve,
So you shouldn't have there shouldn't be a bill there then.
So we should put it to a
Apparently
dollar.
there is.
Let us do
Oh,
some
it's-
research on it and figure out why you have a bill. Well, I say us and it's Jeremy and Sarah who will do the research, but I know that if you have a copper line, then it's like $71
Yeah,
a
we-
month.
It looks to me like the billing is dropping off.
which it would have when these.
My suggestion would be put $1
A
in the
dollar,
line.
yeah.
So if there
It's
is
still,
somebody who
it's still
can
to
pay.
pay for their department's line, right? Next Steve.
Yeah, that would be the split.
Yeah. So the number's gone down due to the switch, so I think we'd still have.
We had it on the other one too,
Went from consolidated to Nextiva, that's why it dropped in price.
So that's just the basic line for that would be for them would be the Nextiva bill, their split of the Nextiva bill, okay. Might wanna leave it at that then for now.
Okay.
And until we get a couple of years under their belt with them, cause they might fluctuate and go up $50. We never know.
Good. Training, hiring, testing. I'd like to leave at 5,000 if we get new firefighters. I mean, the price of a fire one. Right now, we're doing it on your own fire one, but I don't know if the state's gonna let us keep doing it. So, but I don't know what she said the other night. It was pretty.
Well,
It's gonna cost some money.
yeah, it's gonna cost some money, and that training budget may very well not be spent. We've got other, the Meadowood facility may come back up and running here come spring, which will benefit Fitzwilliam and Troy significantly, so.
We had another meeting last night.
You may not spend it, but if we've gotta send people out to,
So like
About
the on your own fire one they're doing right now, we have to pay the instructors. So at the end of the whole class, whatever she had to hire for instructors to sign everybody off. There's every evolution you have to do. Then she divvies it up to the towns. Like some towns got 5 or 6 people. We only have 1 right now. I think Fitzwilliam's got 3. So she's gonna proportion it the right way because she goes, not fair to take the towns and just divvy it and make Troy pay for one guy. You know?
We pay proportionally like.
So she's gonna proportion it out and then we'll
Actually,
pay whatever at
so
the
they
end.
won't pay the same amount.
So,
We have 1, we have 3, some probably have 8.
the bunker gear, I went up a little bit because that went up some.
Okay.
You wanna take 5 on this, Dick? You wanna take 5 on the rest of it or what?
I need to, but you guys keep going.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Class A uniforms, I didn't spend any just because some line items went over. I got one guy that I should put a uniform on. Diesel fuel, I mean, I went up just a little bit because, well, no, it stayed the same. Because that's actually, we're getting diesel fuel cheaper because we buy it through the state over there versus down here. Gasoline is $100. That pretty much everything that uses gas is a side by side, but we try to use the non-ethanol stuff, which is the generator chainsaw gas, which we didn't need any this year, but in the spring we're gonna have to order some more. The fire truck, the maintenance. they stayed pretty much the same. The tanker, we went up a little bit, and I'm hoping that's the right figure, because it doesn't have an air dryer system for the brakes. It gets a lot of moisture in it, so in the wintertime they'll freeze up easy. So I wanna put an air dryer, I don't know why when they built that truck, they didn't put an air dryer on it. So, I got a price from, what's his name in Winchester? Goodnose in Winchester, that they gave me a price to put it on, and State Line's price was 3-4 times as much as what he gave me, so. Everything else stays about the same. The HME ladder, the ladder's always been a little more because of last year that we spent so much because we had to put a complete exhaust system on it, which that's a fairly lengthy truck, so a lot of pipes that do this to get underneath all the stuff under it. So that was over $3,000 just for the exhaust on the ladder.
So you're expecting not to have to do any major repairs on the ladder?
On anything, really, everything should be pretty good. So. Water and sewer.
So the new total I have is 133,327.
One,
133,327.
And I'll update that stuff and send it to you.
I'll make a motion to approve that submitted.
I'll second it. So, taking the break. Any further discussion on that one? All those in favor? Aye. Get 2 out of 3 after the vote on that one. Hey, look who comes back.
Did you approve their budget that you?
we did all 3 budgets and got them approved, so.
Worked for me.
133.
I went out on the front step and she came over from the water bank and gave me pizza bites, which are quite good.
They're good in this, as long as they're not super hot. That's the one problem.
These were not hot, but they're supposed to be hot.
Well, most of the time you make them, when you first pull them out, freaking like lava. And it's
Oh,
like,
really?
You bite into it, you're like, or you just bite and you're
No,
like,
these came from Domino's.
Are we leaving this notice?
Oh, yeah, those are
Dick,
good.
do you wanna vote on that or no?
You passed it.
Okay.
Got a quorum?
Okay.
Consider me in on it, yes.
Okay.
133,327 was the bottom line.
Good. That's with all of the,
shifting, yeah.
okay.
Alright, so forest fire. Do you want a more comfortable seat? I'll give you my seat.
No,
It's got
it
padding.
has, no, it's, I'm not supposed to sit, so.
So forest fire budget.
So the warden one, that's gonna stay the same. I just submitted a bill for the permit, so that would change. There hasn't money spent out of that one.
So just scanning through this, the only thing you're going really up on is workers' comp and equipment purchases.
Yep. Cause I just bought 8 links of 8.5 forestry hoses, $1,200, so the money I got doesn't go very far. And I have a lot of old brass fittings that I'm trying to eliminate. They leak and, they leak more water than you're trying to get through to the fire. Some of them. They're old. Before I was born, I can guarantee you that.
The problem with brass is it's chemically active, so when it gets to be a certain age, it just, Andre and I were babysitting her grandparents' house 30 years ago, and they had had it replumbed in 1929 in Keene. And middle of the it didn't freeze up, it just broke. And that was the day and the minute where that was the
And
end.
that's what everything was made out of. Now it's all anodized aluminum, which
Yeah.
is, it doesn't corrode as much. It's just a lot nicer
I have that on my trash pump.
material to work with.
It's an interesting one because
They don't bang up as easy, brass, the thread gets hit and then you're fooling with it because it's soft, yeah. So,
alright, so I'll entertain a motion on this one.
I'll make a motion to accept that submitted.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Alright.
Aye.
$3,844.
Yes.
Ooh.
Ambulance. Actually, it's not bad.
That one I didn't have to update
so
the actual.
I am telling you to switch the first line item to 195 and a 209.
What?
195.
Yeah, you got some wrong.
Is it 209?
So
So 195 should be the payroll line item instead of 209.
So it's just 195 on the dot?
Yeah,
Yep.
the second line item should be just 10.
10,000.
And there's gonna be a lot more, so Jeremy, you're gonna have to do some more recalculations on the fund. So we won't be able to get
So
you,
it should go down a little bit more.
Yeah. so I won't be able to say an exact amount, cause I do not know the math for workers' comp.
I could probably do it, yeah, hopefully.
Alright, so vehicle insurance, that makes, I hate to say it, that makes sense.
I think because of the new ambulance,
Yeah.
that's what's gonna get you.
Well, you got the total town vehicle, value, I mean, by default, fire and ambulance. More so fire.
We just added 3 vehicles this year.
We have expensive toy boxes, that's the problem.
That's for sure. You know, $1, we didn't have liability calculated in this before?
He said it wasn't there, which was weird,
Because we didn't have the ambulance, that's what you're saying.
but I think it hasn't been in there for a few years.
So yeah, if I'm looking at 23, it's 0 too.
So the only thing I can think of is I don't know if when it was private, if it,
Right.
and they never carried
Probably
it
had their
over
own
from
insurance or
them.
something, yeah.
You just got lucky, you were uninsured and didn't know it.
Some other department paid for it. It was insured, but somebody else paid for it.
Yeah,
And the recharge on the fire is just the one that's on the fire truck. Sorry,
there's
the
two,
ambulance.
should be 2 on the ambulance. It's required to have 2 fires.
How much do they cost now to recharge or check? Do you know?
I mean, I could check with Gary at New Hampshire Fire, because they're the ones that do them, but offhand, I don't know.
Just wondering if 100 is enough for 2.
Should be.
Okay, because I know every department's like, some
They're all
have 5,
different,
some
yeah.
have 4.
Yeah, it
some
all
have-
depends if they have to send them out to get them hydroed. So depending on the years and what the thing is, they have to bring it up to get it hydro tested. So that'll cost you a little more than just him switching stickers and checking it and all that.
And then social security will change as well.
So that'll go to 15,683.
15,683. Okay. Telephone basic,
I'll leave $1 in there.
so that's gonna be again the,
Mm-hmm.
Does the ambulance bay have a phone in there?
Yep.
Okay.
It's in the office.
I was just wondering, because the 210.
Well, actually, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The old one used to hang outside, but that one's in the office now.
Let's see. Toll charges, no. Training, hiring, level funding uniforms, diesel $1 just in case.
Yeah, I put that to $1 just in, if we ever switch for some reason, at least it's an open line.
Alright, so gasoline,
So I yelled at them because they leave it idling a lot. So I yelled at them.
So where's
Well, I mean, you also gotta remember that they got idle. We got a lot of stuff charging
So yeah, I mean,
inside those
if
trucks.
it's like where they can plug it in, they, you know,
I'm not complaining about the line, I'm saying is that enough?
yeah.
That's the only thing I'm,
Do you remember?
Is
what
it
was?
run on regular?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's regular gas. That's why because I spent $3,243 this year. I know gas is supposed to go
Against a
down.
budget of
but-
2,600.
Yeah. So going to 3,000, I'm thinking should you raise that up to 3,500 just in case?
Is that 23 actual number correct, or we didn't spend any?
Yeah, and gasoline.
Well,
did
the
have
gasoline you wouldn't
that
because it was a diesel ambulance before.
That makes sense then.
Yeah, so this new one they switched to diesel because
So we just kind of threw a figure in there not knowing how much we would use.
I was also hoping that we'd get it.
Yeah, we were
Timely
probably
manner.
gonna get it sooner than we did too. That's why we had both line items with 3,000 in them.
So I don't know. You think 3,000 is enough, or do you want to go up?
I mean, we can go to 35 just to be more on the safe side.
All right.
That way, hopefully we can not go over.
Now, where is that phone line located?
The what?
The basic rate, where's that phone line?
The
In the
phone's in the office in the ambulance bay.
So we budgeted $1 not knowing that we're gonna have to, we know what happened there, no?
That's not a secured line.
Right, but I mean, we put $1 in there and we're paying for it, so $210.
How much do they cost for the phone?
Well, that's probably similar to fire, where that's your department cost, but last year's budget only put $1, I don't know why, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, it says we actually expended
210, yeah,
210.
Is that,
doesn't matter.
is there a phone over there?
Yeah, in the office.
Cause how are you paying for the hotspot?
That's different. That's probably on my
So
end.
23 we budgeted 300 and spent 251, and then 24 went down to $1 and we spent 210.
Yeah, so should we bring that up to
Oh, that's
250?
out of the general. That's out of the
General
revolving account.
So Mark, would you be okay to bring that up to back, just do it to 250?
250 for the phone.
That's probably next to you too.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring.
I'm just wondering why it went.
So I got a total, Jeremy, workers' comp?
That would stay the same.
Okay, so that's the same. So then I've got a total of $242 and $21.
I mean, and that is giving what we're giving for.
Yeah, so that, the reason why that went up is
So the line item 102.
102 went up to give, the crew raise. Jaffrey came in and gave all the other folks a, $5 an hour raise in July. That resulted in us losing 4 folks, and potentially based on what we decide fits all in try together. In this budget season, we've got 3 more that are ready to probably go next door too. I'm with the same way with you. I'm twofold. I hate playing this department raise, so we've got a raise, so next year the next guy down the road's get a raise. But also, how many people can raise their hand and say that they can live on $17 an hour working? Not many.
No,
So I understand both sides of the coin.
I have no problem with the raising the money for them. It's one thing that's killing me is the county keeps up in the amount they're paying, and
Well, everybody's playing that same game.
yeah.
Private, public, everything.
And like I said, Jaffrey's a private organization, so they can up whenever they want.
Municipality budget for the year, you know, with those two, you know, with the county having open pockets and them being private.
So what that does is it gives the folks a raise. It brings our EMTs from 17 to 21 an hour, and our advanced EMTs from 19 to 23 an hour. And we also put in there, we have we're having a bit of a weekend challenge, getting people to work weekend. Additionally, we don't pay holiday pay at all. Like we got crews working Christmas, they're just working for their regular rate, no holiday pay. So we put in for Friday night, Saturday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, 5 nights, a $50 shift bonus for the weekend to try to get,
People don't stop
see if that'll get us staffed on the weekend, fully staffed. You know, we're pretty good staffed during the week, and we're fair on the weekends. We're pretty, Saturday and Saturday night are a rough shift
I think
to fill.
Jaffrey did what, a $5 an hour weekend shift differential?
Yeah. And we thought about trying to do an hourly shift differential, and we just figured it'd be easier. We'll give you, you know, accounting wise, trying to, you know, for people here, Sarah doing payroll, just if they work the weekend, they get the $50 shift bonus. So that's what the increase in rate in payroll is, and that came to $33,000 increase.
Yeah, I like I said, I expect it. It's
Can't schedule deaths on weekends.
well, yeah.
If we figure out how to do that, we'll do it.
And I think the Fitzwilliam board felt pretty much the same. They
Yeah.
expected something to be different because of everybody trying to play, see who we can steal from this guy thing.
Yeah, I've been hearing
You
that
guys
a
should be
lot.
making more than most people at fast food.
That too.
And you say, I mean, here's where you're at. You're EMS is crossing the hump from, typically what we're all used to volunteer to. There isn't a volunteer EMS person out there, so, it's different than fire, so.
What was the number you got?
242.21. So I'll entertain a motion for what was
242,
021.
021. I move that we approve the budget in the amount of $242,021.
I'll second. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
I got one other question.
I might have an answer.
Answer's no.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you.
No, I will amend your budget for you.
The school that wouldn't take the ambulance for whatever reason, the city of Keene's financial board for this.
What wouldn't take the ambulance?
The old.
When we offered the old ambulance
Oh, yeah, right.
to the career center,
Yeah.
the financial people for the city said no.
We're cool.
So they said no. So my question is, would the town be willing to donate it to specialty fire service and training?
I move that the town of Troy authorize the fire chief to dispose of the old ambulance in whatever way he views is serving the greatest public interest at his sole discretion.
I'll second. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
So the fire specialty service and training is the group that's in the process of taking over Meadowood. So we voted, we had a meeting last night, we voted on our board, somebody to do the EMS side of it, so to give her a tool to work with the EMS, and we actually might be having some pretty good things coming along in the very near future.
I'm just gonna
So you'll
slide
see
it
some
in the yard
activity.
shed there. Yeah.
Yeah, so you should hopefully see some activity, especially in May.
Oh,
I'll
good.
tell you that much.
It's exciting.
Is it,
We won't be asking them
in
to school.
May and September?
So we're hoping, Charlie and I are gonna meet with a lawyer this coming week
Yeah.
to get everything situated. And then, but we met with a group yesterday that they wanna start doing some classes out of there to promote the place, so.
Can you use the water with a filter on it?
So we have to put a filter system, right?
We have to, we can use the water for non-potable purposes right
Yeah,
now.
but we have Russell has one, I
Yeah.
have one.
It was like, I think before we could have put in for it, I don't know if we still can.
Yeah, so there's,
No, they stopped, the state put them in.
Yeah.
Put on my house, Russell's house, I think the red house up on the corner has one. And, and they maintained them, like, I think for 10 years. And then at a certain point, they said, you're on your own, but the system still works, and it's got a,
so if you noticed, all the new wells that went in there,
like, I didn't know.
the testing wells.
Yeah,
The one well, I think, didn't go down by you because they couldn't get in there or something.
yeah, it was
There
something
was
like
a
that.
well down by you that they couldn't do because
They could have gotten in there, but they,
I don't think they wanted to go and
yeah,
destroy too much. It's like if they
yeah.
thought-
So basically what that's done is work in this new group, which is myself, Mark, a bunch of other fire chiefs and stuff from the area. DES and EPA has said they'll clean it up for us. They just wanted to delineate where the mess was and what
Yeah.
was bad. And what came out of that testing this time last year was basically where that old propane field is right there. Just right there is a small amount of area they gotta clean up. Like some of those wells down by your area and out back there, those all tested pretty all clean enough that they weren't concerned about them, so.
Good.
It's pretty much where the propane truck was up toward like the
Yeah.
tower.
Yeah,
There's a strip you can see they cut out.
They
Yeah,
cut some
That's
trees
pretty
out,
much what they're
strip
gonna
right
dig
there.
out and replace.
oh, interesting. Are you gonna use that tower?
Yes. And then we might be building some, out of Connex boxes, building some houses. So we
drawing
got some-
prep and stuff, so.
That's his job. So he has to do the floor plans, and actually he got a few nice ones last night.
Did you?
Yeah, there's some pretty cool buildings you can build with them.
Yeah.
I've seen some nice ones out of Conex.
So
Yeah, so we've
Five,
secured
six
some pretty good
dollars.
donations to
Yeah,
start
we've got
getting the property.
a really good donation
Good.
to get us, paid our lawyers' fees, and gave us a pretty good chunk of money.
Yeah.
That's 2 years in a row he's done it, so.
So we're rolling.
All right.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Have a good night, guys.
I wish we had to walk away without a drink.
So I'll send you the updated ones.
Okay.
So you have that for Monday.
You're sending it to that email, right? Yeah, the fire department email.
Yeah.
We've been using that one more because that's where all the building companies and
Yeah.
told put them on that instead of my email, so it
Okay.
all comes to that one. So. All right.
All right.
And there was one.
Alright, so we've got an abatement.
I move that we approve the abatement on map 20 lot 36, the amount of $665.34, which is a correction to the 2023 assessment, which was changed.
I'll second.
Alright, any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright. And they've got a nice beautiful budget to look through at some point.
This is,
So Jeremy, who puts in the information in this? Like what we've used, especially like insurances and things?
The printout or the?
Yeah, it's printout.
That would all be Sarah when she charges the bills.
Okay, cause you would think, does it all come out? Cause several people have asked about some of the,
The insurances or?
yeah, the insurances and things like that not being out of their budget and it kind of throwing a,
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to make the calculation and we'll do the best we can, and there might be some fluff there or something, but we have to charge it.
but like shouldn't it already be in like this?
The problem is the numbers, I mean, she could have charged whatever was budgeted and just done it, but we're finding that those numbers weren't totally accurate, so. Sarah wanted me to try to recalculate it, and I tried that once and it just didn't fall right, so I just need to do it again. Does that kinda answer the question?
Sort of, I mean, I'd rather see a number in here
Yeah.
than a blank, because if we put a blank, we don't know if we actually use that money or not. And, yeah, this is going out to everybody, we need to have, make sure things are right, or at least updated. So,
Do we wanna try to encumber items again like we did then last year?
yes.
So I talked to, I was gonna mention this later, but I'm also gonna now, I talked to Attorney Hoppick. And I know legal's kind of a hard thing to predict.
Sure.
22 actual for legal, we spent 6,893. 23, we spent 12,676. This year, we budgeted 45,000, not knowing Primex was gonna take over with the coverage for the lawsuit. And we spent 16,129, so that leaves a remaining balance in that budget line of 28,871. And Joe said we can encumber and prepay, basically like a retainer. We could wipe that line out, we could spend some of it,
I
whatever.
don't wanna wipe the line out, if I had a $45,000 budget line, and I only spent $16,000, why would I send the lawyer $29,000?
We'd be paying ahead.
And for that, we get what?
Next year you can lower the number or not pay at
No,
all?
and then next year he's got $29,000, and guess what his bill's gonna be?
29,001.
I hope not.
I think what we do is if he doesn't have any open invoices from us, that we just go forward.
Okay, we do that.
That was the question for Joe was, do you have any open invoices? You're gonna send us a bill on 12/31. If the answer to that is yes, if you can tell us what that is now, we can encumber that amount of money.
Okay, but for like the auditor or something, we wanna do that. We do wanna encumber, because we have a set cost.
Right. know what that's gonna be, we actually set the money aside for that, so encumber the auditor's fees, but remember, you have to pay it out within a certain time frame too. You can't encumber it on 12/31 and say, well, we'll pay it in June.
Right, yep. Okay, so we'll just let that lapse? Illegal.
Yep. That's okay.
Alright, next we've got the ADU flyer, which you've discussed. It's on here as well.
Yeah.
Buried in all the things. So this one we have to work with the planning board on, correct?
Correct. If, one of the things on there, is in Fitzwilliam, they have a land use coordinator. In Winchester, they have a land use clerk. I don't know that we have any of those, so your application plans to the Selectmen's office at Town Hall.
You don't want to put Eddie in
I'm
joking.
Poor Abby, poor Abby.
I know our ADUs can't exceed.
I mean, she is a land
No,
use.
they have a minimum, we have a minimum, as Henry explained it to me last night, we have a minimum of 1,000 square feet.
No, I think the
No,
maximum is
maximum.
1,000. The minimum's 4.
Yeah, the maximum, we
Oh,
exceeded
is
the
that what it was?
maximum,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think the minimum's 400.
I don't remember that.
Well, so we, in this case, what we wanna do, an ADU may not exceed 1,000 square feet and may not have more than two, whatever our rule is there, we wanna make sure we have it correct.
Yeah, I don't think we care about the bedroom count. I've never seen anything on our ADU, as far as I've read, but I think it is 1,000. They just upped it to 1,000, maximum 1,000.
Yeah, right.
And so, on the second page, applications and forms can be acquired online or at the selectman's office in town hall.
I feel like there
What I
was,
would put there.
sorry, I feel like there was also a clause, which probably is irrelevant, that it couldn't be larger than the existing.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
the
it
primary
is.
residence.
Right.
So if you go up South Street, I don't know how familiar you are with that, but we have a detached garage, a 3-car detached garage with an apartment over the top, which is actually larger than the house.
Right.
It's a little weird to look at, actually.
Yeah, which I would probably, so what we do is we strike out the may.
You
not-
up there, Curtis?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking somebody
Well,
just renovated their garage with a.
well, no, they're building, this is
No,
a,
somebody else.
yeah.
Renovated their garage and put an apartment above the garage, but I don't think they got a building permit for it.
You're trying one that's been listed a couple times
I think so.
out that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times listed and
I
I
just-
brought it up, but
I
I
just
thought he
remember
said they had a permit.
Oh, they do have a permit?
So
No.
You said you thought they did, but we'll have to go back and check.
Which one are we talking about? Well, on Manaldog Street?
No, not on Bigelow.
Oh,
Oh.
Which we go back to
Yes, exactly.
do as I say, not as I do.
So you said it may not be bigger than the
primary residence. right?
Yeah, I just don't know how the garage works, right? The garage is part of, like, you don't
Yeah,
count
what's
that
up part
square
of
footage, so you just count the ADU itself.
Right, you got the AD there, yeah. I mean,
So that's
it was one of those things where you look at, you think, geez, guy, if you just built the garage, you'd actually have the garage with the apartment over it looks more appealing to me than the
Right.
house next to it.
Well,
We'd have to go back and look at that one.
but there's another one that was on, West Hill, I think. Maybe
An
off of
ADU?
Richmond Road, didn't they just build a new garage and put it
Yeah, they did,
Another-
yeah.
above the garage and everything like that?
Yeah, they've been, I think it's Mackey Road, isn't it?
Mackey
Road? Yeah, it's up there.
It's one of those.
Yeah. So, they've been, and they keep coming in for extensions on it. Is that the one?
I don't know, I have to look
Yeah.
at it again.
And so then information, contact who we want them to be the contact, I think the answer is it should go back to Abby and our flow chart.
Yeah.
contact the selectman's office, because the idea is all of this stuff is gonna be logged in and moved through the selectman's office as the,
Yeah, starts with us, ends with us, so we can keep everything in one form and file, and then
Right.
we'll say, okay, go through the planning board, please.
right.
Here's your number.
Right, so we're tracking this stuff. Alright.
Sounds good to me. Alright, and now we've got
So we gotta talk about the public works director?
new.
Okay, that's the whole reason why I said.
Or,
We have it on the agenda, that's what that mark is.
oh, you threw it off to the side.
Oh, it's in the file.
We discussed the job description in public here.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
job description.
Oh, I gotta find it.
yeah, I just,
Here,
I thought that was
Yeah.
our homework to
I
go.
was gonna find where it was.
I didn't know we were gonna talk about it, I thought we were gonna, homework, go look at it.
The other thing is homework. That other one.
Oh, the letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got that today.
is there a letter in here about it?
Yeah, oh, there's a letter about something else.
About what?
Something else.
Oh, okay.
Behind the job description.
Oh, okay.
Should be a letter.
Alright, let's see. Have you seen this?
No. What, is
Here.
that the job description?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, unless I have a comment, I just want to hear it. Where's the job description?
Front.
Here,
Here's
Chris.
this thing.
It's right behind tab number 2 in mine.
Yeah, okay.
It's not the second packet. The second packet's
So I took what Dick said and then I kind of took other towns and threw it in the blender. It's probably more than we really need, but.
So there's no specification for the amount of compensation, the hours worked. The idea is that she or it would work primarily in the field, but for a landing space, we would give them a former welfare manager's office.
We'd have to clear everything out of there that's welfare, yeah.
Yeah, it should be in a locked cabinet anyway.
It's locked, yeah.
By the way, that door was open during the ZBA meeting.
I thought that was open because of the thermostat.
Probably, but usually we go there and lock it up.
Yeah, at night it should be locked up.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be left open at all. Because someone wants
Yeah,
it.
the files are still locked in there. I had RAT connect the computer files to mine, so I don't have to leave my desk. when
Right, sure.
it's enabled, so just convenient.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, I drafted the big portion of this.
Oh, that's why it's not AI written, okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I did not rate any, well, I don't know if other towns use.
You wrote the job, you wrote some of it.
I'm just picking.
Supervision received, works under the broad supervision of the town administrator. Work is performed with considerable independence and involves responsibilities for the use of considerable initiative and judgment in day-to-day operations. Confers with the town administrator and/or select board on matters concerning significant policy or priority factors.
Works under the broad.
Well, I think the intent there is the same as when I wrote it. I said just reports directly to the town manager and indirectly to the board of selectmen. The idea is we're not looking to hire somebody who requires handholding.
Be like a road agent.
I mean, if he needs to come in and get something done today, he goes and talks to the town administrator. If he's got a problem, he comes to the select board.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Right. Primary duties, developing maintenance plans for town buildings and lands managed by the select board. Assist with the annual budgets for operating costs, equipment purchase, road and bridge construction and maintenance. Assist with the creation and update of a 10-year road improvement plan, the town's capital improvement plan, municipal buildings maintenance and improvement plans, and fleet management needs. Obtains bids from vendors for work to be done on town buildings and lands managed by the select board. Coordination of vendors and supervising completion of proper standards of work on town buildings and land managed by the select board. Organizing and coordinating staff between departments to achieve the highest level of service as may be practical for town buildings and lands managed by the select board. Assist the select board, town administrator, and/or department heads in preparing bid specifications for construction, reconstruction, purchase of vehicles and heavy equipment. May assist or help coordinate emergency response to ice and snowstorms, flooding conditions, wind damage, other emergency conditions affecting the safe and expeditious flow of traffic on town roads, sidewalks, and town parking areas. Assist local police, safety officials whenever necessary by providing equipment, labor, supplies, material, and know-how as may be possible. Specific items to be managed, maintenance of U.S. and state flags on all town buildings, coordinating all street lighting through Eversource or appropriate vendors, proper pruning and health of trees on town property, including any logging enterprises that may be required or liable, all fences, all landscaping, coordinating with volunteers for gardening and plantings on town buildings and lands managed by the select board. Updating and removal of expired, tired, or out of season plants, decorations, or signs or other materials on town buildings and lands managed by the select board. Manages and controls all applications for events to be held on the town common and any other town building and lands managed by the select board. Responsible for aiding and developing annual operating budgets for town buildings and lands managed by the select board. Will provide the same services and work cooperatively with any independent town commissioner board that wishes or seeks assistance with any and all of the above, specifically but not limited to Historical Society, Kimball Hall, Cheshire Depot Committee, Cemetery Board of Trustees, Library Trustees, Recreation Committee, Conservation Committee, Troy Water and Sewer Department, and any other town committee or endeavor that may apply and be reasonably in the opinion, and may be reasonable in the opinion of the select board. Makes important contacts with the town administrator, select board, highway department, contractors, vendors, landowners, and taxpayers as needed. And the only thing we left out here that I added today to my notes was he's in charge of the town clock. Did you really want to let him do it?
Nobody wants to climb up that damn ladder.
That's why.
So you automate it.
Yeah, I love
It is automated.
You go
It runs on electricity.
Automatically,
I mean,
he
really
goes up there.
Actually, it does not.
Oh,
It's
a
a
tank
Oh, it's run by weight?
It's
It's
a
run by
stone.
weights?
It's a granite stone.
oh, well, that works.
One giant one.
See?
If you want to ever go up there, let me know.
Once you automate it, you can't go back.
I'd love to, but I'd be.
I've got to work.
One person at a time
Grip
grip
on
that
it so
ladder.
bad I'd probably never come down.
It's
So
a little,
Yeah, I bet.
but it's not bad.
So those are the highlights, the major duties. I mean, none of all these specifications of bureaucratic BS behind it. Minimum qualifications, knowledge and level of competency in civil engineering, construction management, business management, and related fields. Do we really need a civil engineer? I don't think so.
You need to have some knowledge of it.
Knowledge and level of competency in civil engineering, construction management, and business management. So I'll tell you a story. The Monadnock School District for many years had a requirement that the facilities manager had a job description, something like that. And so they were interviewing people who had that and zero field experience.
It works a lot.
And then we went through several of those, and each one had grander and more complicated ideas, and on what they did execute cost were guaranteed to be over budget, under time, and not get it done. And then we had an applicant who was a retired construction supervisor who had a high school diploma or equivalency, and some small amount of college. But he spent 30 years in the field building buildings all over the world. And it was a crisis that they required a tie-breaking vote, which is how I happen to know about this, because I happen to get dragged in to do it. To hire the person who was willing to do the job,
We didn't have a degree.
and he didn't meet stuff that sounded like that. This job, it's not important that you be a civil engineer, it's important that you know how to get somebody out on the town common, take one of the LED lights that's out, go up to Keene on Ralston Street and get 5 more and screw them back in. This is not a job for a rocket scientist. This is a job for somebody who has a good understanding of how the basic mechanics of a small town work.
Common knowledge.
You would think.
Well, I mean, it says knowledge and level of competency, it doesn't say you have to have a civil engineering degree.
I'm
Take
telling
it
you,
all together.
I'm telling you how these things get interpreted down the line. I don't think you need that.
I added a lot of stuff that we probably don't.
So, my thinking is we all take this one again, it's home, run it,
Yeah,
run through it.
come
And,
back to that next week,
yeah,
or next month,
next year.
yeah, next year.
We got a budget.
I think we should put this in our budget as we.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
When we're prepared to put
Yeah,
our
I'll
budget.
Yeah.
I think the sooner the better, yeah, we're gonna have some projects coming up where this would be it would make it incredibly easier to
This,
coordinate.
right, we're gonna, whatever we're, well, not whatever, but the amount of money that we're thinking of allocating to this, we will save
Oh, yeah.
simply by,
Right, one grant, you can pay for itself.
right,
Well, then just the lack of confusion, you know.
right.
And,
Coordination, yeah.
Whose job is it?
Left hand talking to the right hand.
yeah, or like you know, yeah, just I forgot to do that, or, you know, who wants to volunteer to take on this?
Now, we want him to be
responsibility?
independent like this, we don't want him like supervising certain departments.
They wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't be supervising.
Just wanna make sure that's what we want.
No, you don't want,
Well, I think you want some, I think you do want some level of supervision, Curtis.
not over the department heads are, that's their job to do their department.
Right,
But
I think you
over
would
their
want-
buildings and facilities and working with the department heads,
I think
I'm all
it's
for
a,
it.
it's a, like,
Could
how
be-
we work, we
could be
work
an umbrella.
together.
well, I think that's,
Well,
I think,
Yeah, I think you'd have him supervise the project, right?
Right.
If it required multiple departments, he would be.
He would be the
technically in
go-between
charge
between
of
there.
Right.
that project.
Cause as we know,
Like, John, I need you down here, Justin, I need you doing this, like,
Right.
we're
I
gonna
was
do
gonna
like
say
a
the
couple
exact example.
taps down the line, like, can
Right.
you be here this day, and I'll schedule John for this.
Right.
day.
but not in charge of, cause that's why we have department heads, they're in charge.
I agree with that, but sometimes, you know, they all directly report to Jeremy, and I think I think this person would be, John's gonna have, as an example, I just pick on him because we use his name already. John has a question about X, this is a person who's gonna have more practical knowledge
Right.
than maybe going to Jeremy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
I'm not saying just this person here is gonna be the one that says, no, this is not the way you're gonna do your,
Right,
this
right.
program or
right.
this thing here, I want you to do it this way, when it should be
You know, when-
facilities and maintenance. and-
When Kim says, I know that I need to remove an oil tank from the basement of the depot, but I don't know how to do that.
Right.
Right.
Get
Who's
hold of
gonna,
him.
this is a
or her.
person, and that, because the issue that came up earlier, well, it's if they want help. If the cemetery trustees want help, if the library trustees want help, we have enough on our plate that this will be taken care of. I mean, if the water and sewer department wants help coordinating, fine. If they don't, then they don't have to, it's not a,
Yeah, we would just be paying for that service, so soon, right? If we
I
needed
don't
him to
think-
do, like, you know, we need to get new roofs on all of our buildings, can you
Right.
handle that, so we can have Justin doing more?
right,
it's
Yeah.
more of a coordinator. He would
Right.
like, you guys bring the projects forward, like we need your help with
Yeah,
this.
doing some
Right.
building improvements, could
Right.
you
right.
Yeah.
possibly,
Can you write up the bids?
yeah,
Or
find
the-
some
the bid
vendors and
specs,
some.
right,
things,
yeah.
So we can
Yeah.
have Justin doing more appropriate things.
Right. And that applies to whether it's the library,
Yeah, I don't mean to
or
use
the
Justin, but.
the depot, or what have you.
Yeah, it's basically the planner of all the major projects, like 1, 2, 3 Happy Street needs to be repaved, but there's water taps that need to be replaced. This
Yeah,
person
do we
will
have
coordinate.
any goosenecks or galvanized goosenecks
Right.
that need to be done at the same time, because that's coming up for us, and lead and copper stuff will be coming up. for
Yeah.
us.
It's and they coordinate with everybody. They
Right.
make sure everyone holds hands and sings Kumbaya.
Well, we have a road that we've gone back and forth on whether we're gonna pave it, and who and how and when, and who's first in there, and
Yeah.
what do we need to do, it'd be great if someone compiled all that information, just had it ready and say, okay.
Well, and you drive around the common, and we had the Eagle Scout painted the common a couple of years ago.
Well,
Whatever.
okay.
It needs to be redone. are done again. So that's something, this is a person who can do, right,
And handrails on the top
Up
of the
there.
town hall. need to get
absolutely.
Secured and
Clock tower.
clock tower, and, yeah.
Yeah,
Detroit, New Hampshire.
they're not getting better.
Yeah, would you allow him to do work like that, or would you just ask him to find people?
No, we wouldn't expect him to do it.
Right, okay.
No, his job is to find the person to do that.
And plus.
Yeah, no.
We're not gonna get a handyman.
No,
No.
yeah, right.
We want him to find the people to do it, cause
Agreed.
while
Well,
there are some people who are very capable of being handyman,
Sure, right.
I'm not gonna trust someone who doesn't know anything about electrical to go play with electrical.
right, and it's a,
Electrical should have to be licensed,
No, I know.
and funding has to be licensed. Technically.
So we'll read through that and run it.
all right, so we're gonna take this and,
The other day.
did you get Micah the full version we got? Have you been?
Alright, so we talked about that, ballot counting device, ballot counting.
I move that we
Very draft.
put a warrant article on the ballot for a ballot counting machine.
So there's two warrants here?
There's two warrants, so the,
We have the,
because the town didn't, we haven't been, approved it to actually use a ballot counting machine.
we don't want.
So we wanna put that on the ballot
Yeah,
to actually accept or be able to.
it's a lot, it should last page.
You
So
wanna
adopt
buy it,
it.
you don't wanna buy it and not be able to use it?
Right, so, all right, I move that we create two warrant articles. The first one, to employ a ballot counting device,
Shouldn't those be the other way
and
around?
approve the, to employ, I guess the word, I'll just read it. To see if the town will approve the use of a ballot counting device, this will cut down, that's not relevant. To see if the town will approve the use of a ballot counting device, period. Majority vote required. And the second warrant article I would propose is that regarding a ballot counting device, to see if the town will raise and appropriate $7,500 for a ballot counting device. The town will own the machine. The state of New Hampshire will reimburse the town $3,500 after approval and purchase. Annual service is $500 for any number of elections. Majority vote required.
Shouldn't that say $500 for each election?
Oh,
Per
annual
year.
service is $500 for any number of elections is different than for every election.
Yeah, cause it's $500 each election.
Okay, because I didn't.
Plus there's a $500 annual fee,
For maintenance.
just maintenance, so that this.
All right, well, so we need to,
Adjust it a little bit, so it should be $7,500 to purchase it, $3,500 grant back from New Hampshire, because it's the first one we buy, and we only get that, it's a one-time deal, so we
Sure.
only need one machine.
right,
And then after that, it's $500 per election, so if we had 4 elections like we
yeah,
did
but
this
there's,
year.
But there's also a
you have two
$500.
fees. You have an annual service fee of $500
Correct.
and then a $500 fee per election.
So,
We have annual service fee of $500 for any number of elections, plus $500 for each election.
we don't, we probably should remove the state
In
of New Hampshire will
use.
reimburse, because that has nothing to do with the warrant article. We just tell them
We
the
can
state
tell
will
them that,
reimburse
yeah.
them. Cause we don't wanna put it in the actual article, cause in
Right.
case the state says, we'll give you $1.
You're right.
We're telling them, we guarantee this much, but we can't guarantee that much, it's
Yeah, you don't
depends
know
on the
what's gonna
state.
come.
So,
State guys.
And
yeah,
you
well,
need-
the state already said that we can be reimbursed, and I guess, it's,
Yeah, but it shouldn't be, it doesn't belong in the warrant article.
another thing a caveat to this, the school said that because if we do get this and we program it to that ballot, but it'll count the school ballots and actually separate everything too, so if there's a school warrant
Yeah.
article, still the $500, it's just they just program it to accept a school ballot, so everything goes all in one, and it'll count it, and
Do they pay that school bill?
they said that they will split the cost and everything like that and do
That's
that,
good.
so that will be,
Yeah, but
I
that
just
doesn't,
found that out a couple days
Good.
ago, so that's good.
yeah, but that doesn't belong in the warrant article.
No,
No, so the annual service fee of $500 and.
Plus, $500 for each election in use. It's used, it is used.
Well, it should be, instead of putting plus, should we just put and $500 per election?
And annual cost is
Election.
service fee of $500 regardless of the number of elections per year and $500 for each election it is used.
and that $500 covers the programming of the system on how to count it.
Yep.
And the 2 cards that come for, the moderator and the town clerk.
Right. Yeah.
The secure cards.
Right,
to
to check,
program and
okay.
everything like that, so.
Alright, so here's what we've wordsmithed this out to. To see if the town will raise and appropriate $7,500 for a ballot counting device. The town will own the machine. Annual cost of service is a $500 fee regardless of the number of the elections per year.
And that's for any updates, that's what.
And $500 for each election it is used. Majority vote required,
Sounds gooder to me.
okay? And then the other warrant article is to see if the town will approve the use of a ballot counting device.
Should we put the caveat on the second one that if the first ballot one is done or denied?
Well, I think this needs to go first.
Yeah.
Ballot counting device needs to go first. And it seems unlikely that you would approve that one. If this one dies, then that one's gonna die.
Right, that's basically what it is. So this is the first one, the ballot counting
Correct.
machine is the first on the list.
Correct.
Saying,
The authorization to use it.
yeah,
And then if you authorize the use, then we'll buy one. And you could theoretically authorize the use, but not buy one, and you could still rent one.
correct.
So, they need to go that way.
So, you agree? I just wanna ask Michael Clerk one question, because he did, help with the last election for counting. What was your opinion on how things went? I just wanna also point out, we had record numbers of turnout. And I think that just how this would,
I mean, my opinion's gonna be skewed, it's the only time I did it, and I found it quite interesting, so I was kind of enthusiastic about it, right? I would imagine that after doing that multiple times, it becomes very unenthusiastic.
Especially when one ballot's missing and you recount it 4 times.
Yeah, but it seemed to go pretty smooth for that one, and I probably witnessed a pretty smooth one for, especially for how many we had, so, you know, I see its worth, without a doubt, but, I mean, it eliminates error, all that stuff, right, so,
Well, I think it's important for people to understand the ballots aren't destroyed, and if there is a recount, then you do a hand recount.
yeah, I think that, yeah, like, there'll be, you know, and I'm in between on this, right, the ones that are nervous about it being a machine, but, yeah, right, invite them down to count ballots, and obviously they feel differently, but, yeah, it's tedious and it's all volunteer and great respect for everybody who's down there, and I see the value of it, my guess is it'll pass.
Yeah, so we start with we put the question of, will they approve the use of it? And then will they
Right.
approve purchasing it? If they say no to purchasing it, they say, yes, we could use it, means we just, like Dick said, we rent it like the school does.
I'm just I wanna advocate for this, because I've been down there helping out for I've been a selectman going on, this is my 8th year, I got 1 year left, and I was part of the counting and everything 2-3 years prior to that, so, you know, over 10 years of helping out, counting and everything, this right here, it would be a godsend. I've been there when there was mistakes, TJ's been there when there's mistakes, the ballot clerks, and it's just a tedious thing, and I definitely would say something during the town meeting to encourage this.
Yeah, I might
If
even
people
say
are
that, just
skeptical about it.
if they don't.
It's not a lot of money, really.
It's not a lot of money, it's a one-time buy, we get reimbursed $3,500 back from the state, and then even if we have the four elections like we did this year, that's a lot of time.
Well, we
and money
budget,
and effort.
it also, we're budgeting, well, I guess we're not paying the people who count, we pay them with pizza.
If there's any left.
Well, the ballot clerks get paid,
Right.
it is something that they have to do, and it's,
Yeah, this is.
they have to update the system and all that, and there are.
How long will it last the machine? Probably for a while, right?
That is one question I did not ask, but I
3.5 years.
I did grill the person that was.
Dies right in the middle of an election.
What do you think about
I'd
it?
imagine it'd be a decade.
It would be as long as the systems last. I mean,
As long as it can't be updated.
previous
until it
places
can be
I've
updated.
lived, they replace them every 10 years.
And the one we're doing is the one that's, we're gonna meet all the new rules and everything at passing as of January 1.
Yeah.
So, and it's gonna cover, that $500 service fee covers all updates and everything. So as long as it can be updated with the software, I think we're in good standing. So, I think it's definitely worth it. So,
I would just say from a verbiage standpoint, if you do stand up, I would just say that the state will reimburse a portion of that and not
Oh,
a physical number.
Yeah, don't put a number to it because, like I said, state will they tell you one thing, and then this year they voted it less. So it's
We're
like
getting reimbursed a lot down at the mill, at the plant, so it's, I don't wanna throw a number out.
So Dick made the original motion, did we finish that motion, or?
I made the motion.
I'll second it.
all right. We were in further discussion. So yes, we're gonna put the first one first, or so ballot counting first, then the ballot counting device second, just in case. All right. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We did, you kinda mentioned it the other night, I was pretty shocked at how many people voted other parties in what areas
Right.
besides that, There were a lot of Democratic ballots that were straight down that voted for AOC, and I was like, okay. And then there were some Republican ballots that voted for Harris.
Yeah, that was,
The last few elections, we have to, that makes sense.
And then, Curtis and I were playing together, so and some were just pinballs all the way down.
yeah.
How's that? No.
It's always,
State's done that for
the
years.
the only part of this I regret is the opportunity will be lost for those of us who have ever counted ballots to see the decision-making process. And I've always felt counting ballots, on some of them, you could like look at them and see, you can almost feel the person's deliberations.
Scratch your head.
You know, I voted for Trump. Should I really vote for Maggie Goodlander? She had good ads. I mean, you want to know what made that, how does that equation work, you know?
Right. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think that was what I meant by I was interested in it, and it was exciting for me because we were voting back.
Yeah.
Can't fill out one bubble anymore.
Before we jump ahead,
Used to be able to do one.
can I get a motion to approve this?
Because I mean, there were money that were straight down the line, right? But it was.
But you look at the late, early 2000s, and every 2 years it would go all one way, and now it's like.
I make a motion to approve what is this?
So that is
The
the
forest fire.
forest fire and lands,
This is their payroll.
their payroll.
I make a motion that we do this once a year, every year, I forget.
Exactly.
So, I make a motion to approve the annual pay for the fire warden and deputy in the amount of $172.
I will second it.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Quite the process. The treasurer has to sign it, and you then send it to the state for 175.
Yeah, but, I mean, they probably, most places who have actual forest fires, probably that's a lot more for them.
No, I think it's a flat fee, TJ.
Is it?
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where it has, the fee has not changed in generations.
And on the other side,
Well, it's a $2
Mike,
per hour.
if you send 2 disbursement requests in the same email, you get rid of the right of it.
$2 per hour.
Is it me or I was like,
Yeah,
what are we arguing about?
Well, when we both asked for that change.
Well, I hit reply all, that was the problem. I didn't mean to really send it to her. Because the other lady called me and I was like, no, I just happened to send it to the state, sorry.
Well, I mean, we've asked you've asked and I've asked twice for that name change. And then suddenly it was like, oh, thanks for bringing it up.
She called me the other day and I went over on the phone with her and I said, yep.
All right.
Yeah, of course I spelled it.
I think we've got the kinks out of our permit flow chart. Driveway permit is nicely broken out. That was easy. Conditional use permit, which applies to solar systems, commercial or utility, wetlands protection district, water resources, all of those things all go to the planning board. And then you would loop back to the planning board process, which would take you to a site plan review and approval or rejection. Building permit, if it's a residential solar, single family dwelling, duplex housing or ADU, or a shed, that goes to the selectmen. The selectmen either approve it or deny it. If we deny it, it goes to the ZBA. If we approve it, then we issue a permit. If it's approved by the ZBA, then a permit's issued. If it's denied, then they have 30 days to appeal for a rehearing.
So, planning board can actually deny a site plan and then
Yeah.
it could go to the ZBA, so I think that needs to go site plan review and
It needs to have a line down to
either denied,
it needs to go approved or denied.
right, and then goes to ZBA for
I'll put it down here.
a variance, appeal, or special exception waiver.
Well, that's just, it goes, whatever they're doing there, yeah.
And all 3 start still in the selectman's office.
Yeah.
We could
Goes
like
to
assign a
ZBA.
number or something. We could assign a number to it or
Right,
something.
right.
So then we can keep track of it and then drop it in their file when it's all said and done.
So I think, all right, so I think that's the only loop, and then if the planning, these system, all right, so then if you go down to the bottom on the conditional use permit, really has the same thing. That comes out of there, and it's either approved or denied.
And then if it's denied again, it goes to the ZBA.
Deny, goes to the ZBA, approved. Permit issued. We probably need to put that here. Permit issued.
Because once they kind of all, so I think this needs to move out this way, this middle part needs to move out this way.
Well, she can do that, yeah.
Right, so if it's approved,
Yeah,
it
so
comes back to us again.
right,
And
and
then,
we issue the permit.
right, and then again with this one saying.
Well, I just ended, I thought, the way I did it is any place where you end with a permit issued, we issue the permit.
Right,
She put permit issued by someone.
yep, makes sense.
Okay, so we'll fix that, I'll give that to her.
Flu shot. Alright. On to,
I move that we approve the payroll for the checks dated 12/23/24 and of $19,968.29. I move that we approve the accounts payable for the check run dated 12/12/24 and of $14,822.80. Accounts payable for 12/16/2024 in the amount of $225. And accounts payable for 12/19/2024 in the amount of $17,220.42.
I'll second.
alright, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I move that we approve the public selectmen's meeting from November 26th as submitted.
I'll second.
Alright, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. I move that we approve the non-public session from the selectmen's meeting on November 26th as submitted.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move that we approve the public meeting minutes of the selectmen's meeting from December 11th as submitted.
I'll second.
Alright, any further discussion on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move that we approve the non-public meeting minutes from the December 11th meeting of the selectmen as submitted.
I'll second. I got 2 copies.
Alright, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright. That was that one. Now we're on to board correspondence. Any board correspondence?
No.
I'm not getting any mail, dang.
Nothing of importance at least.
So there should be a letter going out to yourself, the selectmen, monthly from the, I think it's either county or state, with any type of lead stuff that goes on. There should be one, because also the police department gets one. There's 3 letters sent out.
Like the town lead report?
Yeah,
The town what?
and that it's a town lead report basically, with which
Town what
towns.
report?
It's basically what towns have been, like if your town has had lead reported,
Okay.
it's something that we should be getting monthly. So if there's none, it should
From
be
the
basically,
HHS?
I think it's somebody, it's either the state or the county, but whoever gets reported to.
It gets reported to the state, it's not, the county's not involved.
So the state would send it out then. And we should probably be keeping an eye on that when it comes through, Jeremy. Just to throw it in here so we can read through it and see if there's been any issues, because I know it's the question of the day has been, well, has there been any lead poisonings of anyone? And it's all reported on that list. So if you could look into that, it'd be awesome. And on to your administrative reports.
So we have a court date, the 30th for the day, Route 12 property update. So I assume you're gonna go again, Dick, or?
Oh, I got my name on a sign because I went, so if somebody else wants to go and get free publicity, that would be okay.
Or we probably don't even really need it, so I don't want to, but.
I can go.
You can all go. You can get all in there.
I'll go.
I will have to see if I can make it. I'm off work,
I
but
don't even know if you
I'm on
have to
kid
have a
duty.
selectman.
I'm on kid duty because that's what is it?
I'm sure Joe could end
It was their winter break. It was kind of funny on their email they sent. It said it was December whatever through January, the end of January. I was like,
Doing a college break now? Or?
that's what I was like. Damn, they get a long break. But it was a misprint, so.
And then, January 13th at 9 AM is the Cormier initial hearing.
What is the story on that?
That's the one where they built
I thought I know.
We did an injunction, not a cease and desist, but an injunction, and that's the first hearing.
I thought we had already gotten, thought we'd already won that case.
But yeah, but it's still there.
Oh, so we're going to court to enjoin them from
Oh.
using it.
Yes.
And I don't think they're going anywhere because they have a driveway and a mailbox and it looks like they're comfortable.
Okay.
So I don't think that's,
I'll go to the one on the 30th, but I don't know when I'm gonna go to that one.
okay, we'll check back in later.
I'm not sure, frankly, I'm not sure I'm gonna be here.
Okay.
I don't plan on dying or
You're running away?
well, no, but I'd like to go someplace a little warmer for a day or two.
That's a good idea.
What? We were warm like yesterday or the day before. We were 60.
Great.
I was thinking Sausalito, actually.
The other item is, I spoke to a company that retrofits streetlights at the NHMA conference called Affinity. They're out of Dover. They use veteran labor to do a lot of the stuff, which is good. But basically through state funding and whatnot, and I'm waiting for the final proposal, but we have 111 town streetlights in town, and like all but 5 are the old lights. cameras cost like twice as much to operate.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, all the rebate-free money's gone, but the way it's been explained to me in pending the official offer is that for say 4 years, you'd switch the lights over to LED, it'd be a big cost, it'd look big on paper, but you're essentially paying half to operate them, and then the other half would go to pay it down. So then 4 years,
Yeah,
it's paid off, and then you're paying half what you paid out for streetlights.
right. You're using your savings to pay off the lights.
So I don't know if there's interest in the board in doing that.
I'm very interested in doing that.
Yeah, I'm very interested, but I'm also interested because I know when the person before you reached out to freaking power people.
Eversource?
Eversource.
Oh, it's
They were supposed to be as they get replaced. They were supposed to be switching them to LED.
Yeah, but they're not burning out fast enough, those.
Well, I was originally told by our community relations manager that he thought the whole project could be done for free, and I said, there's no way. And I talked to other towns, they're like, yeah, not happening, but.
Yeah, because that's
It's
basically what they told us. Because when we started doing that list of how many were out in this town, which was about half of them, they were supposed to say, okay, even if it was just a light bulb was out, they said they were going to replace them with LED because they're cheaper to run.
Years ago, there was probably more rebate money, maybe it was a lot cheaper, but.
Well, maybe our representative.
And the other option is,
We'll kind of push for getting more money.
I don't think that's high on the priority list. Another option would be looking at the 111 and saying, how many of these do we need or not?
If you're doing that job, you do them all.
Sometimes shut them off.
Well, I've actually seen a couple that aren't even on that are technically ours.
So I included in the packet an RFP, I don't know if we have to actually do that, so there's a couple of companies that are actually gonna bid. And the one that I'm getting the proposal from is like the one that everybody uses, but due to the purchasing policy and the amount of money, I will reach out to other vendors to at least get a quote.
So you're talking about, you're gonna copy Swansea's
But I
RFP.
don't think we really need to go up for RFP, you're gonna get the same response.
Well, I think one of the things we found with some of these situations, like this would be first of all, a perfect example of what your public works director could do. And
You're taking the RFP and giving it to the vendor.
yeah, what we've found is just shooting it out there. Everybody's busy and nobody has time to do it. If you contact them directly and say, here's our specs, we have 111 streetlights, can you do it, what's your price? You kind of have to find the vendor, give them the RFP and say, here, would you give me a price on this? That's been my observation here.
It's only a handful of companies, I think, that do it. That affinity group is like, everyone uses them and has nothing but good things to say about them.
Okay.
Yeah, you put it out, if you don't get a reply in a certain amount of days,
Right.
then you made your attempt to get
That's-
multiple bids.
That's what we do, because I know like the library, they reached out and to like 10 different vendors and only got 2.
Well, try getting divers to dive in.
Dive in.
That's a shitty job, man.
A little more specialized, but.
Right, one estimate.
How do you get paid?
Very well. With what I've heard their hourly make.
The only question I have is, we talked at the last meeting, whatever, about including meeting information in the minutes.
Yes.
Now, do we want me just to add the selectmen's packet to it, or do we want, like, tonight with your handouts, do you wanna?
It should be, we've gone through this before, and as town administrators change or people get busy, what should be available to the public is everything that's been handed out here,
Okay, so,
whether it's
Except
my
my-
handout or your
so
handout.
packet and whatever else comes up.
Correct.
That's fine. Just wanna clarify that.
If Mike comes in from the water department and he says, and here's my flyer on the
Shit removal.
whatever, that needs to go in there, not just a note in the minutes that said,
My
because,
candidates of paperwork.
right.
You have the 918 and get it, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, this is the idea, is to be
Yeah.
more visible,
Yeah.
and it lessens the concerns or questions, or maybe creates more questions, but at least this is what we got.
Being transparent.
Well, about that transparency, I mean, I think we've come a long way doing the video recording and putting it out there. We can't be any more transparent than what we already are, in my opinion.
I think what we learned last night was just that, it was
and no offense to anybody, this is daunting for me when I came, it took me 8 months just to, like, I didn't say much, right? And some people choose a different route and they're very vigilant in the beginning, which is apparent, but yeah, you can go back, right? You can educate yourself and go back, and it's extremely tedious to find meetings and the times when things are on there. And video certainly helps because it's easily to digest and you can kind of play it and do something else and things like that. But yeah, if you want to be involved and know what's going on, you really need to be in either these rooms or watching it like that, right?
Educate yourself.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not easy, right? It's difficult.
Even right now, we have 8 people watching. And this is like the lull part now.
Right. And if they're paying attention, this is the 3rd night in a row they've been watching something.
Yeah.
So.
That's why the drugs said what they were doing.
And I will announce this to everyone online. If you want to watch it afterwards, give me at least 2 hours to modify it because I have to change one setting to be able to watch it, review it because of the setting they put it when it posts. It does it as private, and I have to go in and change it to public. So if I'm not at the meeting, I don't do it right away because I'm.
It's just an unfortunate choice of words on YouTube's part.
Yes.
And with that being said, when he says he has to modify it, he's not changing the recording or the video or anything like that. He's just changing it
From private to
to
public.
public.
And then everyone can see it and watch it and clap and make comments.
living color. For those of us who are older, that means something.
I get it. I
No, you really don't.
The show or the TV color?
I
know what you're talking about, and I do know what he's talking about, but I think.
I've rewatched the replay of when the people touched the red buttons or the buttons and then it went from black and white to color.
No, it was when they advertised, when all TV shows were not in color. And so when part of the pitch on certain shows would be in living color. You could go watch the Bob Hope Christmas special and it was in living color. The Lawrence Welk show was now in living color.
Watching World War II film in color now is kind of interesting.
It's not a gray splatter.
So most of those are colorized, and so it's funny because when you look at them, you can see the primary field of vision is colorized, but there'll be gray, black and white areas off to the side.
So, I think we have something for non-public, or
I do.
the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, or the disciplinary, or
Yep, that one.
of such employee, or investigation of any charges against him or her, unless the employee affected, 1, has a right to a public meeting, and 2, request that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. And that's RSA 91A32A.
Alright,
You can throw me out of here.
Okay.
Our
Do you have
next
anything else
meeting-
for us?
No, I just wanted to.
Our next meeting will be January 2nd.
Okay.
Have to think about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a conflict with the planning board and the water and sewer, I gotta figure that out, because the holiday, they moved it to the 8th. That's our normal scheduled meeting.
Is that just for the letter? Are we good?
I don't have anything else.
I thought we were gonna sit on that.
What? I'm gonna act on this tonight.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you said earlier.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah,
So-
Mike.
Did you second it?
I did.
Alright, roll call vote. Curtis?
Yes.